Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back. We are back after a week off of the live. Today is Saturday, April the 11th, 2026. This is episode number 308 of Sports Cards Live, and my name is Jeremy Lee. Welcome back, everybody. Tomorrow night here on the channel, we will be doing the Fanatics Collect weekly auction ending watch party. That is going to be back again tomorrow. Guys, Leighton, Sheldon, Just Collect. He will be joining us a little bit later in the program. Live from Strongsville, probably from the hotel at the Strongsville show. We'll get the dealer sort of perspective from Leighton. And if you are selling a collection, feel free to reach out to him, Leighton at justcollect.com, and his other company, auctionwire.ai, now a proud sponsor here of Sports Cards Live. And if you use promo code SCL, you can get 60 days of free trial on AuctionWire. Check it out. I've been using it, and those save searches come in really, really handy over there because they cover all the auction houses. It's pretty cool, guys. How about Mint Inc., another great partner here of Sports Cards Live? They do deliver the ultimate hobby experience, live whatnot streams, auctions, grading, breaks, 2 full retail stores in the GTA. They do it all. They're buying collections 7 days a week, and they're 2 locations. Click the link in the description below for 5% off. That is SCL5 for 5% off your first purchase. You can shop anytime online, worldwide shipping. Mint Inc., where collecting comes to life. And guys, the Front Row Card Show had a great inaugural show in Atlanta last weekend, and this weekend they're in Seattle, Tacoma with a 480 table show. Next they're in San Diego, April 25th and 26th with a 425 table show. Visit frontrowcardshow.com for more show dates and locations. And guys, Mr. Minty wants to let you know the grading is expensive. Tying up your time, money, and assets. Get it right with Mr. Minty, offering a full line of 100% substance-free pre-grading supplies, prep and evaluation services, concierge drop-off and pickup for both PSA and BGS submissions, designed to help collectors save time and money in the expensive grading process. You can meet Mr. Minty at many shows across the country. The London show is April 17th to 19th. That's in a different country. For more info, go to mrminty.com. Save 25% off products using promo code SCL25. Keep collecting, happy collecting, and keep it minty. And guys, I want to shout out Chronosio, an AI-powered collection and inventory assistant that allows boxes and boxes of cards to be scanned, documented, and listed for sale in just minutes. It works with sports cards, TCG cards, slabbed, and raw cards. There's 2 bundles available on Walmart.com, eBay, Amazon, as well as certain hobby stores. Their cards to cash bundles include a scanner, software supplies, but the key is the 1-hour one-on-one enablement session at the time of your choosing. Visit chronosio.com/booking. It's a huge part of the value. And not only do they work with you to get you up and running, but they're always available to help you manage your cards and sell them online. Whether you're a collector or a hobby store looking to expand your business, go to chronosio.com. That is Chronosio with a K, and you can learn more. And guys, CIA auction ends tomorrow. Visit collectorinvestorauctions.com to register and bid for their upcoming monthly auctions. I'm going to quickly flash that on the screen. Here we have it. This is their auction ending tomorrow. I have it sorted by highest price, so you can kind of see some of the key cards in the auction. As I'll just scroll. Ooh, there's the Bonds Tiffany. That's in a recently graded PSA 10 holder, $3,300 right now. I always love that card. I know not a lot of people love the 87 tops. I don't know. I think it's a good look. I like the looks of them. From vintage to modern, all in the same row. We got Jerry West and Luka Doncic right there. Lots of great cards. Anyway, guys, this auction ends tomorrow. There's a nice 65 Mantle, an 82. I love this Nolan Ryan, by the way. I have no peachy copy of this one in a PSA 8 holder. Sylvan gifted it to me a couple of years ago. What a great look. I just love those old Astros uniforms. But anyway, that ends tomorrow. CollectorInvestorAuctions.com. You guys check that out. If you want to sell your cards on eBay, but you would like the pros to handle it for you, get rid of all the fussing yourself, reach out to me directly and I can help you get your cards listed with Slab Sharks on eBay. You can email me, Jeremy@slabsharks.com. This episode tonight is also brought to you by Upper Deck, the Sport Card Expo, Inferno Red Technologies, ComC, and Card Ladder with an affiliate link below for Card Ladder. Don't forget, the show is also available on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow for free. And if you're enjoying the content, please leave a rating and review. It does help. And a huge thank you, as always, to all of our loyal viewers and listeners. If you haven't already, please take a moment and subscribe. And as always, your comments and your questions are in play, everybody. Lots of comments in the chat already. So welcome everybody to the show tonight. We're gonna start with just myself for the first half hour. I got some things I want to talk about. I need your help on a couple of things. Gonna let you know about show you some pickups I had this past weekend at the last weekend at the Edmonton Expo. I want to let everybody know any recent orders directly from me for Pops and Comps have all been shipped out. So thank you everybody for that. If you'd like to order a copy of Pops and Comps, you can reach out to me directly and I can have that coming your way. Oh, and Hobby Spectrum is it's up and running. The gate is off the front. I'm waiting for a couple of back end things before I really start kind of going to town on that again. But got a great feature coming soon for that. Just kind of had a breakthrough on that the other day, so I'm excited for that. David Chase is at Strongsville right now. He'll be joining us a little bit after Leighton. We'll get the attendee perspective from David Chase as well. And I want to let everybody know, on April 19th, I will be set up at the Stampede City Card Show here in Calgary. I know a lot of people here are listening and watching aren't local to me, but for those that are, I will be there on April the 19th, set up as a vendor, as well as accepting submissions for consignments for Slab Sharks. We have the Sport Card Expo in Toronto. Hope many of you guys can come. I know we got a few special people coming up for it. This time, it's April 30th to May 3rd. I will be there, set up, just having a great time. Cannot wait for that. And then there's another local show here at Thorncliffe, the Calgary Card Show promoted by Maple Leaf Sports at the Thorncliffe Community Center on May the 9th. I'll be there as well, set up and taking consignments for Slab Sharks and just, again, buying and selling myself. But I want to go to some comments. Let's say hello to everybody. Laura, good evening, Laura. Mr. Lee, respected. You don't have to call me. We're friends now, Laura. We've met in person. I'm Jeremy. You just call me Jeremy. Or some people call me Jay Lee. That's fine too. But good to see you, Laura. Kevin Hawthorne, good evening. Chris C, good evening to you. You're stuck also, but you're stuck in Cali. Doesn't sound so bad. Bill Betts, good evening to you. We got Jake Dahl as well. What's up, Jake? And I'm going to go back to here now because I was already behind on the Oh, wow. We got lots of you guys here already. I missed all this. But welcome, everybody. Jake Dahl talking 1949 Bowman. Mike Ham is here. What's up, Mike Ham? Good to see you. Always. Frank Estella. Hey, haven't seen you for a while, Frank. Welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Yankees fan. Hello. My back hurts. Yes, let's get it. Double V, Mike, what's happening? Live from Calgary. It's Saturday night. Absolutely. It sure is. What's going on? BW is here. What's happening? Jeff McMahon, the sports card professor. Good evening to you. Found treasures. Mr. Manos. We got the curmudgeon here. What's Confluence? Just left trade night at Strongsville. It was a blast. That's good to hear. I wanted to go to Strongsville. I was going to go. And then the travel didn't work out. And as I was, gearing up for it, not going, seeing all the videos and, podcasts, people talking about it, friends of mine talking about it, and then you start seeing the content roll out. It's weird. Like I don't really have FOMO. Yes, I would love to be there. I would certainly love to be there. Maybe I've got a low degree of FOMO. I'm just really happy to see everyone having a great time. The show seems awesome. People are making some great pickups, but we'll hear more from Leighton and David Chase here shortly. Rob Star, we'll see you in a couple weeks in Toronto. What's going on? Welcome. My back hurts. Spent $500 in grading last week. Well, I mean, hey, you do what you're gonna do, right? You do what you're gonna do. Good evening, Stacked 5 Sports. Yeah, we're gonna get a couple updates. We got Brian, the High Pop Professor. What's up, my man? Oh yeah, good evening, everyone. Looking forward to the show. That sounds good to me. Turner is here. What's up, Turner? Piccolina the cat. Good evening. Jim Sholey is here. I don't know how to say your name, Jim, but Jay Lee. Oh, Jay Scholl. Okay. Is it Scholl or Scholey? We'll go with whatever comes out of my mouth. There's Josh from 90s Auctions. He'll be joining us soon on the screen. Anthony, what's happening? Bobby Baseball, good evening to you. Mike sells cards, greetings and salutations to you. So I'm going to start. I'm going to show you my pickups, guys. Our first guest will be Leighton. He's joining us in about 20 minutes. So I want to whip through a few things first. And I'll start with my one baseball card from the Edmonton Expo last weekend. You guys know that at the West Coast Card Show, I started picking up some baseball memorabilia cards. And this came by my table from an attendee. And I'll just show you. I don't know what year this is from. It's like, gosh, what year? No, I want to see what year it's from. I can't read these things anymore. The print is so small, but this is from 2005 Donruss. This is a Duke Snider. Fabrics of the Game. I think it's called Fabrics of the Game. Materials. It's called Materials. There's game used memorabilia right there of Duke Snider. And it's numbered on the back there out of 5. So kind of a neat, rare piece. But when I bought it from the guy, rookie mistake I made, you guys. Rookie mistake. I didn't realize that there's, a bunch of corner, like edge scuffs there on pretty much all 4 corners. But it's the worst right down there. So luckily I didn't have to pay a lot for it. But I was disappointed. But at the same time, these cards to me are about having a piece of the player's memorabilia, and it'll still fit nice into the collection. An early pickup at the show that I grabbed from a vendor that I just met at the show is this 2016 The Cup triple premium materials. I don't know if these are patches or jerseys, but it's just a nice card, numbered out of 10, of Wayne Gretzky in the middle, Mark Messier beneath him, and Yari Curry, who was his longtime winger in Edmonton, who scored a ton of points with Gretzky. But this is like a really swell trio of Oilers on this card. And I like that a couple of the pieces are 2 color, being the Gretzky and the Messier, and then the Curry is 1 color. So grab this from a vendor at the Edmonton show. And then another walk up to my booth, picked up these 2 2006 SP Game Used patch cards out of 75, Henrik Zetterberg and Rob Blake. So these aren't expensive cards. These were like $25 each, something like that. And I'm chipping away. I'm not building the whole set. I don't do checklists, but I'll do players I like or cards I like. And these guys both fit. So I have a few incoming, but if you're out there, you have any cards from this set, these are the patches out of 75. I don't want the ones with autographs, just the patches. Let me know if you have any. I'm picking up cards of players that I like. And then now I can't. Oh, darn it. This is so do I have a picture? I have to find something for you guys, because I walk into the show and I go by Turner's booth and he, hold on. I don't have the card in hand right now. It's already been put away with my other cards from that set. Mistakenly, I would have loved to have shown it to you guys right now, but I have to show you guys this because it was just such an awesome gesture. And I'm going to be able to find it. Here we go. I'm going to find you this card that, where'd it go? It's out of 11. There it is. So I've been collecting these National Treasures number patches for over 10 years. And this is a patch set from the only year that Panini made National Treasures hockey. And they're patch cards. They're called numbers patches because they are numbered to the player's jersey number. And there's 97 cards in the set. It was a 100-card base set, but 3 guys didn't have cards in this parallel set because Panini didn't have material. So there's 97 cards in the set. And I have been on a mission to, first of all, complete the set, which I did a long time ago, minus one of the 3 one-of-ones I've never seen, but I have the other 2. But I'm also trying to get all the jersey numbered copies. So 97 of the jersey numbered copies. I walk into the show and I see Turner Lantern, who we've known each other for years now through the card shows in Canada here, as well as here in the chat. Anyway, he had found, very lucky for me that he found one of them, the Zach Parise, out of 11. And he let me have it. He gave it to me. He gifted it to me, which was very nice. So Turner, thank you so much. It's number 66. It's the 66th jersey numbered card I have out of the 97 possible from the set. So thank you to Turner for that. Thank you very much. I then bought a card from him. I think Saturday morning. this 2014 Fleer Showcase Skybox Premium Sparkling Diamond of Alex Ovechkin. Oh, that looks good. Look at this card. I love these sparkling diamonds. They are a parallel to the rubies, and rubies are, they've got a ton of sort of equity in the 90s in basketball, baseball, football. Hockey didn't have them until the 2010s, and Upper Deck did a great job with these. Look at just how sparkly that is. These are out of 5. And the Ovechkin is a great card. I have the Gretzky as well out of 5. So now I have the 2 leading goal scorers in NHL history in the sparkling diamond. So thank you to Turner for selling me that. 4 more cards I picked up. This one I picked up from a guy walking around. This is Igor Larionov limited logos from the Cup from 2011, I think that is. Nope, 2010 with a nice little puck mark in there on the emblem. Great blue, bold blue autograph. It's a short print out of 25. The limited logos are usually out of 50. So happy to add that. Then I picked this up from a vendor named Jack. This is another limited logos. This one is from 2011. And this is of Ed Belfour of your Dallas Stars. Look at that patch. I couldn't resist the card. I had to grab it. So I grabbed this off of Jack. So thank you to him for selling me this card. Beautiful Ed Belfour limited logos. And then what are my 2 favorites? Because I love patch cards. I love auto patch cards. And I'll start with this one here. This is from 2023. It is a dual signature materials numbered of 5 of Mark Messier and Eric Lindros. I got this from a guy named Jerry, who's got great cards in one of the back corners of the room, always at the same spot at the Edmonton Expo. So thank you to Jerry for this card. It's out of 5. It's Lindros and Messier, both 3-color patches, numbered out of 5. Pretty cool. And then my favorite card that I picked up for myself is similar to that Messier Lindros 2023 The Cup dual signature materials. This one's out of 15 of Teemu Selanne and Ryan Getzlaf, both of the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. And I'm a Selanne guy for sure. I don't collect every card. I don't need them all. I'm not a completionist. I want cards that I like. And this one certainly fits the bill for me out of 15. Both have 3-color patches. Autographs are strong, bold. Just a perfect card. And I even like that the patches are both from different Anaheim Duck jerseys. So you get that additional sort of wow factor from it. So those were my pickups. That was it. Basically, I had a couple other smaller things, but those were basically my pickups from the Edmonton Expo, guys. What else can I tell you? Oh, I'm going to ask you for help. I'm going to just do a few more comments, and I'm going to let you know my sort of dilemma that I'm having. And it's not really a dilemma, but it's a challenge I've had, and I've been thinking about doing something for quite some time and how to do it. And I'm going to ask for your advice on that momentarily. Hello, Anthony. Welcome. I think we said hello to you already, but we can say hello again. Oh, there's Irving Monero. What's up, Irv? Good to see you, my old friend. Good to see you. One of the earliest breakers in the business, going way back in time. Now an LCS owner in Los Angeles. Good to see you, Irv. Jacob Dahl, Game Used. I only do Game Used patches, almost only. Anyway, we don't have to get into that right now. Thank you, Chris C. Thank you, Jacob Dahl. Appreciate that, guys. Yankees fan. Thank you. So here's kind of this dilemma. Again, that's a strong word for what it really is. But, I have my Instagram account, jlee_sportscardslive, where I do everything on there. It's my one sort of hobby account. I show cards. I preview episodes. Whatever I put on there. But I was thinking about, and I did create a second account on Instagram. It's jlee_cards. And I created that account with the intention of using it simply to share cards and not do anything else but show cards from my collection. And then I think to myself, okay, but where do I start? Do I start by showing cards I'm getting today? I've got all the cards in my collection. And one of the other sort of catalysts for this is that I get people asking me all the time to show more cards from my collection. And I don't really know the best way to do it. I've never really done a video where I just show cards from my collection. I have too many cards to show in a 1 hour or a 2 hour video, and that's though, I don't think that's going to get a ton of clicks. And it's not that it's about the clicks, but you do kind of want to, if I'm going to go through it, I want to people to see it and get feedback. And also, when you show your collection, people come to you and say, oh, you might want this, you might want that. And they you have more opportunities to add more cards to your collection. So it's kind of a good way to do it, but I don't know the best way to do it. There's Instagram and YouTube, my two main platforms that I'm active on. So again, I created this new Instagram account. And by the way, if you're listening on podcast, I did last week, I dropped 4 podcasts last week without having done a show the Saturday before, and they're only out on podcast. And one of those episodes, I talked about this. So people who are listening to this again, you've already heard a bit about this, but if you're watching on YouTube, you haven't heard this yet. So it's new for you. But again, Instagram, what do? Do I just show the cards as they come? But what about my 1,500 other cards that I would love to share with the Instagram community? How do I do it? I've had a couple of people reach out to me and say, well, do it in the order you acquired them. Well, that'd be great, but I have no clue. Like, I don't know what order I acquired them. Well, what if I go chronologically? Okay, like by year of issue of the cards. Okay, that could be good. But then I'm going to kind of get to the end and I'm going to show cards I've received, in the interim that are out of sequence now. So I don't know if that's the way to do it. It still might not be the worst way. So what do you guys think? Instagram wise, should I just go completely mixing them up? And then how do I keep track of what I've posted? Or do I just go by like lanes? I'm in several lanes in the hobby. I don't know how many, 30 probably different lanes of collecting that I have. So do I show one lane at a time? And then as I update cards in that lane or that genre, do I then just add them kind of willy-nilly among the rest of the lanes as I get to those other lanes? You see my predicament here? I know these are first world problems. I know, guys. I know that. But still, I'd like to start doing that. And so I'm not sure. And then there's the YouTube way. There's the YouTube option. Do I do one video per lane? Do I do 50 cards at a time? Do I... I can't rank them. I'm not ranking them by how I like them or their value. It's just that's not something I could do. So okay, I'm seeing some responses come in, and I'm going to yeah, I see. No, okay, let's go to you guys, and I'll address some of the comments and just give you my thoughts on them because I do want to do it, and both on Instagram and YouTube. So if you have any suggestions, and listen, you guys are you guys are the audience. So how would you like to see it on YouTube? And if you're an Instagram person, let me know as well. Laura likes the Ovechkin. I appreciate that, Laura. It really is a nice card. I love it as well. St. Louis representing. What's up, JR? Travis Mater, good to see you, buddy. Jake Dahl, go for it. Show any cards you want. Jake, that's not helpful. That's not helpful. I want to do it. I need a method to the madness. Ken Wood. Good evening. Thank you for welcoming me back. Cardboard and Plastic says we need a universal registry for collectors to show off collections, any type of graded or raw card to upload images. I would pay a monthly subscription for this. Well, you can do that. You can do that on Card Ladder. There's a Card Ladder showcase. And hey, if you want to do it on Card Ladder, there's an affiliate link below. So please use that, and you can add cards there. I've got it myself. If you go to my profile on Hobby Spectrum, there's a link that takes you right to my Card Ladder showcase, and other people have added their Card Ladder showcase link to their Hobby Spectrum profile as well. So that there are ways to do that. Back in the day, Photo Bucket was a good way to do it. Flickr was a way that people were doing it. I just use my own Dropbox. It's not public though. So, but I hear you, that would be fun. Cardboard and Plastic, and it's not a new idea. It's been attempted before. Nothing's really caught on though. Found Treasure says you could go with a flow, show whatever you're feeling that day. I thought about that, Mr. Found Treasures. But then how do I keep track? Because I'm going to quickly get into the hundreds of cards, and I'm not going to know, did I show this one or that one? Yeah, I hear you, but I don't. That might be what I do. We'll see. JR says by player, by year, no Instagram. I don't know what you mean, JR. Like, yeah, I don't know that that's by player, by year, no Instagram. Or you mean on? Is that no? Is that NO backwards? Should that be on Instagram? Cardboard and plastic says, I tried that with Instagram and I got frustrated and gave up. I'm afraid of that happening to me too. Diamond Relic says, just do it at random as inspiration comes to you. Yeah, that would be my preference, Diamond Relics. But again, I'm just looking forward and I'm thinking to myself, okay, but then how do I know what I've shown already? Like, maybe I put a little sticker on the outside of the holder of my card. Maybe that's a way to mark what I've already done. I'm going to consider all this stuff, guys. E. Young says, go with whatever stands out to you that day. Move the ones you show in a separate box. Yeah. It's going to take a couple of years, though, E. Young. That's the thing. It's going to take a couple of years. And I like to keep sort of certain cards together. Maybe I'll just, one thing I was thinking of is I've got I keep my cards in 2-row boxes. So maybe I do 1 row at a time. I do a row and then I work through a row, maybe post 1 or 2 cards a day, get through the row. I do a YouTube video on that row. Then I go to the next row. And I think I've got like 12 or 13 2-row boxes in my collection, graded and raw cards. And so that would be 26 videos basically of, 50 or 60 cards each. It's a lot of cards. But that is a way I could potentially do it. Turner says, I think YouTube video would be awesome, or posting them in a flight on Instagram. Yeah, I could use carousels, Turner, right? I could go by sort of theme, like, whatever, 48 Leaf cards, 2013 Masterpieces hockey, whatever it is, and just put up, do a series of carousel posts. That's a possibility. It's a possibility. Jeff Wills says, do short videos about 15 seconds per day, maybe 1 or 2 per day. That will give followers something to be excited about. That's not a bad idea. So shorts. We're talking shorts now. I could consider shorts. And then maybe stitch them together for a longer YouTube video for someone who wants to watch it. It's just press play, do your work, and just have it on the side sort of thing. Tim Heacock. Oh, Tim. I don't know if I've ever seen you in the chat before. Maybe 5 or 6 years ago, buddy. Tim's someone I always see at the expo. But it's nice to see you. It's nice to know that you're there lurking, Tim. He says, I have a hockey page and I know I follow both of your pages. He has a hockey account and a baseball account on Instagram. He tries to post in 3s, a row at a time. Yeah, the way they display. And I'll group the 3 by player, set out similarity. Looks much better when looking at the page as a whole. Good advice, Tim. Thank you. And I'll see you in a few weeks. Frank says, I think you just answered your own question. Yep, maybe. JR says, my PC in the PSA registry. If you only have PSA graded cards, that's a good way to do it, I'm sure. And then you can set that to public as well. But and maybe you can put non-PSA cards in your PSA registry as well. I just don't use the PSA registry, so that wouldn't be for me. But that's a good suggestion for many people, for sure. Travis Mader, do it on YouTube and do it by decades. Yeah, but then by sport, by type, I don't, Yeah, that's a potential. Jake Dahl says, I would say show by player set, memorabilia type, auto patch, auto jersey, etc. Yeah, that's an option as well. There's so many in this suggestion from Jacob here. There's so much overlap is the only thing there. I think I would get confused. Mike Double V says, for YouTube, do the cards as they come in. I try to do one collection at a time so the cards have a theme for the video. Sure, but what about everything I already have that's already come in? I guess there I just go by theme or lane. Josh says Flickr is great. That's as a like a collection sharing platform versus what I'm trying to do here. BW, here's my take. He says, use your experience as an author of Pops and Comps. I present them thinking of telling a narrative. I'm not saying start your earliest cards and finish at newly acquired. Curate. Yeah, this will definitely be a curated account. I will have stories with each post. This will not just be a dump, a photo dump. This will be posts with information of why I like the card, the player, the whatever I know about the card is what I would include in it. So it will be curated for sure. Chris says, I use TCDB. Laura says, wow, what a great idea to share and spread your hobby with everyone. Set up a whiteboard with your commitments, hours in the day, and get back to us. Yeah, exactly. Bystander says, do mail days and do top 15s by genres. That's a good idea for YouTube. Carter says, I'm a new content creator and I'm on my way home from Strongsville show, and my first video will be out tomorrow. I'll check out Carter's Cardboard, everybody. Mike Ham, you already do enough. I appreciate that, Mike. But people have asked me and for years, and I've just never delivered. So I'd like to. Mike sells cards, says keep it a mystery. Random card of the day. I kind of like that approach too. Found Treasure says those little color sticker tabs were great for sorting things. Mike sells cards. If you post it twice, so be it. Fair enough. This was a good idea. Poirot. Travis likes the row idea. That's from Tim above. Try MySpace. Dave Snyder is very happy that his Buffalo Sabres are finally in the playoffs. Congratulations, Dave, to you and all Sabres fans worldwide. I am really happy for you guys. You can put even raw cards into the PSA set registry. Craig Card says Sabres are looking tough, but for me, go Pens. Bob Boozle, assign each card a number and do a random lottery draw. Sundin says show them as they're stored to make it easier. See, this is kind of how I'm leaning, right? As they're stored by the rows I mentioned. So yeah, I appreciate that, Sundin. Hello, Jeremy Filippelli. Good to see you. Piper Max says just show what you like. And if there are some repeats, I don't think it's a big deal. Go with the inspiration. Yeah, it's good advice. Cards that inspire you from Chris C. Holy Conundrum, Batman from Yankees fan. I know, not a serious life issue I'm having here, but I've been thinking about it. What's up, Coach Neil? Jake Dahl, maybe by set, player, or year, as many have already said. Maybe start there and see what happens. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't need to plan too far ahead. Good evening, Foul Ball. Go Flyers, says Coach Neil. And we've got JR says, man, the price of Topps Chrome football is crazy. Just to change the topic a little bit, JR, just to change the topic a little bit. So yeah, we'll have to figure out which direction I'm going to go in with that, either for Instagram and or YouTube. And again, I'm just not exactly sure which way to go. But I do appreciate everyone's input here. I sincerely do. And you guys are going to probably consume some of it. Which makes me think now, as I say that, I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I'm doing a video, I would want to make it would have to be a themed video, right? I wouldn't go all random cards from different genres, different sort of lanes that I'm in, because, if you are only interested in baseball cards, you might not want to sit through the hockey. If you're only interested in modern hockey, you might not want to sit through the vintage baseball. So maybe that, and then you kind of know, it's a Jeremy collection video, but I don't really care about these cards, so I'm going to save time and not watch it. Like I would want to give you guys that option to not watch it if you don't want to. Like that would be, I wouldn't want to kind of trap you in there to just find cards that you're interested in seeing. So Anthony says, I enjoy the spontaneity of the show. Always something different with great guests. Well, thank you, Anthony. And Leighton's entered the back. We're going to bring him on in just a second, Leighton. Chris C says, don't buy it, buy singles. Okay, Laura, I like the YouTube Shorts idea. That way you are presenting and maybe associated backstories with the cards, which I would. Refer to Occam's razor. Yeah, I mean, by organization, right? That's kind of the simplest way, I suppose. We've got Hockey Card Exchange with us. What's going on? We got Shaheen lurking. Good to know. Thank you. I am well, Shaheen. Thank you, Chris C. I just had an idea to do an all 90s cards binder. Problem is I don't have 288 different cards to fill it. Sundin says, how do you store them? Are the sports mixed up? No, everything is sorted by sport and then by year, pretty much for me. Sport by year, except my auto patch, like my auto patch collection is by, well, it's all, my auto patch collection is basically only hockey. I have a baseball and basketball patch collection. They are by sport. So Mike Cam says, don't worry about it and let it flow. Well, see, Mike Cam, that's a problem. I've been worrying about it for 4 years and haven't started it because I've been worrying about it. So I'm worrying about it now all at once so I can maybe actually execute and get it started. So, all right, guys, let's bring Leighton on. Leighton, you good? All right. Welcome, buddy. Oh, well, you look like you're back home.
I am.
You're not. So Strongsville, is it happening tomorrow?
Well, I went to Strongsville from Arizona, and now I'm back home.
But your team is still there set up tomorrow?
Yes. Yeah.
So you were there Friday. You were at the show Friday, Saturday, maybe a little bit of Thursday night setup?
I got into Thursday as well.
Well, let's give the floor to you. People want to hear right directly from you, Leighton. Maybe now, listen, I'm not sure if you were at the booth the whole time or if you were walking around or a bit of both, but we got David Chase coming on in about 25 minutes, and he's going to give us a bit of the attendees perspective, but give us the Leighton Sheldon perspective, maybe the dealer perspective, even as an attendee for yourself. How was the show? Go.
Sure. Well, first, it's great to be back.
Good to have you.
It's been a long week. I was out at the Tops conference, and then I was not able to come home, and then go back to Cleveland. So I got into basically Cleveland late Wednesday night. Thursday, caught up with some work. Waited for the show to open for setup. Went there for setup, and was the first to see the new combined show. And so I didn't really venture on the modern side, maybe for 5 minutes. It did not affect the vintage side at all. And you could tell from the moment that the show opened, well, a couple of things. Number one, it was largely warm. Warmer than many would have preferred. But that was due to a number of different factors. But all joking aside, it was hopping. And a bunch of people were there, Jeremy, on Thursday, but it only maybe was half full on the vintage side. But that being said, there were dealers that were bringing in the material. They then locked it up, only to walk around to buy from other dealers. And so that just, to me, signified how strong the demand is right now. And I'm not saying only from collectors. I mean, whether it be it's a repacker, whether it be it's an investor, whether it be it's a broker, it's a whatnot seller. I mean, there's just so many people that are fiending for inventory that it was very apparent from like the opening bell.
Good to hear. I mean, it's good to hear there's a lot of action. I did the Edmonton show last weekend, the Edmonton Expo, which is promoted by the same group that does the Toronto Expo and the Strongsville show. So those guys went from Edmonton down to the Cleveland area for the Strongsville Independence show. And it was funny. I was watching some videos, and Mikey, who is kind of runs the logistics for these shows, I could hear him, and he's a good friend of mine. I could hear him on the loudspeaker in the background of the videos one of the videos I was watching anyway. It was just kind of funny to hear him. I said, "Hey, I'm listening to you on the megaphone at Strongsville right now." But it's good to hear. I saw in some videos that had this, like, the way they divided sort of modern from vintage was a black curtain down the middle. Yeah. It looked to be a great solution from this outsider's perspective, being that I wasn't there. How would you describe that?
Oh, it was very simple, but also, even though it was very simple, it worked. So if you were really someone who did not want to see shiny cards, and you stayed in, I think there was 4 or 5 very long rows on the vintage side. I think the modern side was a little bit bigger in terms of the amount of tables, but I couldn't tell you the traffic that was there because I really didn't go during the hours of it. It was that busy on the vintage side. And I think that was really well done. Give credit to the venue. I know some people question that. I mean, if seeing a Pokemon person is going to upset you, you might have seen a Pokemon person. I'm going to be honest. You might have seen one. But the joking aside, they did a really good job, not just promoting the show, but also separating it if you so desired.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. Back to the Edmonton show just for a moment. It was this very similar to what you said in that the sales were great. There was money flowing. People were buying cards. One guy owns a store in Western Canada, came by my booth, and he just picked up like 20, 25 sort of just autographed cards. And I asked him, I said, like, are these just for your store? He says, and he said, no, I do mystery packs in the store. And I do $100 packs and $50 packs. And these ones are going to these ones are going to those. I thought, okay, that's it's a mystery pack sort of thing, but that's one of the, I guess, goals, or one of the channels of distribution that is driving all this liquidity, all these sales. It shows, along with the more, traditional repackers, or the breakers who've become repackers as well. And then collectors. I got to tell you, and I want to hear your thought on Strongsville, but at my booth in Edmonton, I like the people buying from me. Other than that one guy, I would say 9 out of 10, maybe 9.5 out of 10 people were collectors buying cards for themselves with no interest in reselling. That I could tell, like, these were people with checklists. These are people who were building stacks of cards of their favorite player out of the binders that I have. And it's so much fun selling to collectors. It's just so much fun. Yeah, especially out of binders where you can give great deals, I love it.
We didn't have that luxury to have the binders because we only flew with inventory this time. But I know what you mean, and I don't think it's like a right or wrong, but I love hearing about when a collector gets a card from us. Like, what's the background? You going after a set? Did you come back in after being gone for 7 years? Did you, buy an Ohtani and you just got lucky and you're putting that money in advance? I don't know. I just like hearing it all.
Yeah, for sure. It's a ton of fun. So tell us any specifics at your booth, cards that you sold while you were there, cards that came up to your booth that you picked up. What was the biggest card, the most expensive card that you sold? What was the rarest card? But not just because, listen, it's always an easy default to say, what was the best, the most expensive? Sure. What was a card you sold to somebody where you could just tell they loved it more than anyone else that bought a card at your table?
So John was at the booth most of the time. And if he had a question about a price, he would call me. So I don't want to misspeak or mislead. I didn't really do the commerce at the booth this time. I was, handling networking and buying on the floor. We also shared a booth with Auction Wire. We were very busy there. So I do know this. From the short time I was at the booth, there was incredible activity on pre-war. Guys like, I want to see basically every cob you have. He didn't buy, obviously, every cob. But when I say wanted to see, Jeremy, he wanted to understand. Like, I had an E95 cob in the case, and a few people looked at it, and it's low grade, it's 1.5, but then a few people came back, and it didn't end up selling, but there was a whole thing like, wow, that it really is tougher than a T206. And I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing. I don't want to sell you the card. That's not how I sell my cards.
Right.
But yes, if you're asking me, is the E95 set or the E95 cob much more difficult to find than any of the T206 cobs, other than the cob back, of course, or maybe some of the rarities, I guess. But all that aside, I thought that was interesting. Listen, the Ruth activity was pretty strong. Even with just a couple of sales, even for the cards that didn't sell, a lot of strong activity there. It was interesting. We didn't have a regular setup because, like I said, we flew with everything. So I sat down with someone on Friday morning at 7:30. They had contacted us before going out there. So I had known just a little bit about their collection, seen some images, but I wasn't exactly sure how nice the cards really were. So the cards ended up that I looked at on Friday morning before the show opened. We did this in the hotel lobby, and I could see a bunch of people from the show like eating breakfast. And I'm like, wow, if they only knew what I was looking at here. Yeah. So the gentleman's father collected cards that he has record of is for 2 years, 1955 and 1956. And the father didn't play with the cards. So the cards were better than average, in terms of condition. And it's funny. So he sent us prior, let's say, 10 or 20 cards or 30 cards to do an evaluation of. So we knew he had a Koufax rookie, etc. So Jeremy, at some point, like very early on, I'm like, oh, wow, is this all your dad had? That's pretty cool that he only had the stars. He's like, oh, I don't know. Do you want these commons? Very nonchalant. And he shows me, I'm going to take a picture. I'll post it tomorrow or maybe on Monday. I don't know what day it is, honestly.
I'm not telling you. Nobody tell him what day it is.
Yeah. It's like 600 or 700 plus 55s and 56s. When I say commons, there's, Junior Gilliam. Like, it's not just commons. There's Hank Bauer. And if you can see it from the top, now it's not vending. I'm not suggesting it is. But just from looking at the top of these that they're nicer than usual. So anyway, to get it back to the show, we decided to put some of the cards on display, but we don't have our regular signage. And I would tell you almost every person was like, oh, is that Koufax available? Is that So we just told the scoop, and he said, well, listen, it will be available likely at some point. Follow along for the journey. We're going to put it on our blog and put up a video. And so we were fortunate while we were out there to actually get this fresh collection of 55s and 56s. The only card that was, if you will, missing, like they never had a Clemente that he knows of, but he sold the 56 Mantle a few years ago, for some money. And other than that, though, there was a really nice group of stars. Second year Clemente, like I said, the Koufax rookie, Killebrew rookie, Aparicio rookie. And I would say on average, Jeremy, these cards look XX mint to near mint. And I'm probably being, conservative. In some cases, you might see a wrinkle, like there's some lower stuff. But then there's, of course, you're like, wow. And everyone wants to know, what's it going to grade? I don't know. But I do know that the cards are nice. And that's what was really cool. So
that's what's important. I mean, who cares what they grade if they're nice? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. So getting back to the show, that is the only fresh deal that walked up to our booth. We bought some graded cards, and those are great. But this was like the only fresh collection that we were able to acquire out there.
Okay, well, appreciate that. Now, the next question I want to ask you is people that you saw. I mean, this is your second time. Well, like you said, this is your second time at Strongsville since there's been such just an explosion of vintage content, and the community has really come together. The community is really formed and is snowballing, if you will. So, and I say second time, because I remember talking about this with you last year when you sponsored the trade night out there. What about this year? Who did you see? Did you see people from other people that you've seen here in our chat, people that are interacting with you? I mean, listen, you're a well-known guy. You've got lots of friends in the hobby, but who did you see? Who did you kind of chum around with? Did you walk the floor with anybody or have
So I would say I
walked
walked the floor and I saw lots of friends. And, I don't want to single out folks and then not remember all of them, but we saw friends like Greg Miller and Tony and Mike Junkwax Hero and Mike Petty, which he didn't give me beads, thank goodness. It's an inside joke. Because I don't know. And I saw Mookie Chilson, the Pinhole King. And sorry, he's a runner for us. We're out of room, man. We bought too much. Like, unless I threw out my clothes, I had no more room. And so Mookie's from Northern Jersey, and so shout out to Mookie. He's herding back some cattle for us, and he's taking back some stuff that we acquired out there because we really didn't have any more room. And of course we could have shipped it, but Mookie can attest to these cards. They're in a Tupperware bin. Jeremy, I walked her. Oh yeah, I'm telling you, I can't keep anything straight in my head. I walked on the modern side because the vintage side I didn't see any supplies. So J5's like, listen, wait, you got to take care of these comments. They're beautiful. I'm like, I know. So thank you for laughing.
Who's
so
Jay?
I go.
You got to tell people you say J5 like everybody. Who's J5?
Oh, I'm sorry. So J5 is his name is John Palmares, and he's our vice president, but he's also a really good friend of mine. And he's been part of our company he said to me 19 years. I didn't believe him. I want documentation, like a birth certificate or something, So anyway, I go to the Pokemon side, like the dark side, thinking like they got to have supplies, right? Jeremy, there was no supplies. So all the cards are in this oversized, like the cards aren't taut. They're not tight. And if they're going to be packed above in some sort of airplane, the cards are going to go from X mint to near mint on average to VG, and I'm going to feel terrible.
Yeah.
So Mookie was kind enough to do that. And then at the end of the day yesterday, I don't really know how to describe it, but there was a get together, and there was a lot of collectors from people who had, I'm sure, smaller budgets to bigger budgets to anything in between. We're all under one roof, and we're chatting up a storm about the show. And then they did some really good stuff. I think Chris from Missouri was kind of like hosting and such, and I had maybe met him briefly before, but spent a little bit more time with him this time. That was fun. Dan Lynch was there. And so Chris from Missouri was kind of like leading this charge. I don't know exactly what happened, but they were raising money through cards that were donated in an auction that people were bidding on. And they're supporting two guys from the community, Theo and Mike, that are going on two different missions. And they've done this before. And, listen, I'm not a particularly religious gentleman, but I certainly can appreciate those that are helping others in need. And so this has nothing to do with religion, is my point. This has to do with helping others in need. And so Theo's going to the Dominican Republic. I'm not quite sure Mike is going, but Mike and his wife have been doing this now for years. And as you can imagine, nothing is free, meaning, travel, etc. And then Theo shows me a picture of the kids that that they did a basketball camp for last year. And, it's been a long week, so I'm trying to keep my composure here. But he's telling me, like we're drinking, it's a long day. And he's like, you don't understand, Lee, some of these kids have never owned a pair of basketball shoes before. They've never owned a basketball. I'm like, Jesus criminy. So, I was very pleased to see that everyone was kind of, having this effort. And like, that's not regular card show stuff, Jeremy.
No.
And that
Real
was
life.
exactly. And that's my point. It was like ran the gamut this week from like, oh my God, there's an Amex Fanatics credit card. What's happening? To the end of the week where like people are donating to a mission. I mean, it was the complete opposite. And I'm not saying that, I'm not commenting on the Amex card. I'm just talking about it had people's heads spinning. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I love thinking about the hobby as just a way to make life better, whether, just if you're someone who's collected, if you're an introvert, if you historically haven't had a lot of friends or whatever, the hobby's it can be an automatic jolt to your social life if you let it be, if you put yourself out there even a little bit. So there's that benefit. But then when the hobby gets together for a cause like helping less fortunate people, it's like we're a good group of people. The hobby is a good group, and we have our differences when it comes to politics, religion, even the sports teams we cheer for, even the sports we like. But at the end of the day, we all put on our pants the same way, and we can come together and just be a community and a helpful community. And it's so cool. Like, it's just, I think we should all be very proud to be a part of this and grateful to be a part of this community.
To be honest, exactly how I felt. Jeremy, I know you weren't there, but a bunch of people came up. They were very grateful for, content that you're putting out and things that you and I have done together. And they're like, when is the next Venice Spotlight? And I know, we owe an episode out to the community, so we promise we're going to work on that real soon. But what I also found fascinating is people were coming up and saying hi to me, which, I didn't know, all these folks. They were just basically commenting about this or that. And I thought it was really, cool. And in some cases, they said, hey, would you like to see something? And I always said yes, because that's why I was there. So Jeremy, there's a couple of points where I didn't almost actually faint, but J5 had a camera because I was looking at a gentleman's cars. I'm not going to name him in case he didn't want to be named. I don't know if we're going to put the video out. I'll just say this, just like the way I told you, some people showed me cards that were $50. Some people showed me a $500 card. So this older gentleman comes up to me, introduced himself, said, I really appreciate what you guys do and all this kind of stuff. It sounded great. I was so, he had a good vibe. He's like, would you like to see a couple of my cards? Very nonchalant. If we remember, may he rest in peace, Randy Stuckmeyer was a great collector in the hobby, a great steward. And even though he had a very valuable collection, you would not know that by the way he presented himself, by the way he dressed. And so this gentleman was giving off that kind of aura. But understand, I'm thinking he's going to take out like a 33 Gaudi, Lou Fonseca in VG, and there's a story behind it, right? I don't know, Meanwhile, he shows me the first card. I'm fairly certain it's a 14 Cracker Jack. Is it a 15 Cracker Jack Cobb? It's hard for me to keep straight, but it's a PSA 8. Okay. And already I'm like, what? This is what are you like? You could have warned me, right? I could have had a heart condition, and then that's it. There's no more. Like, that would be a disappointing way to go. So there's only like 5 or 6 cards. Jeremy, he's got a 52 mantle and a 7.5. But like the way the card looks at me, it doesn't matter what the grade said. To me, it's like, oh, well, I would be done. Like, I don't need any more cards. Thank you very much. Now, to be clear, he didn't buy them recent. He's a true collector. This is someone who's probably put blood, sweat, tears, and a ton of patience. And even though he's been seeing the market go up, he's like, yeah, but I love my cards. That's what was going on. That was the energy at this event.
Amazing.
So we had a Ruth Gowdy that was gorgeous, actually a couple.
Yeah.
And, of course he had more. And he was telling me that, his son, who's a little bit older than my son, is starting to have some interest. And his son was actually with him for the journey, but not at the party. I think he was, doing something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was super cool. And there was really it was a lot of that. And then I guess today's Saturday, because I know I came home to pick up Kraz. And I got up 7:30 breakfast today. I had no deal. But the team wanted to go like 8 or 8:30. I'm like, guys, I'll go early, or we got to do 7:30 breakfast because I got a lot going on. So we all got together early and we head over. And then I made a bunch of content today at the show. I wanted to give one particular person a shout out if we have a moment. But I also wanted to give a shout out to Ryan and Mark, who are both there, co-owners of Auction Wire. We had a lot of fun. We had a bunch of people sign up. Jeremy, can I just send a one-word text to someone real quick?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. I'll be 1 second.
Okay. While he does that, guys, I'm going to go to this comment that came in from Anthony. If you are doing your shorts, you need to focus on player, year, and sport. Like you said, everyone has different collecting interests. Appreciate that, Anthony. And I think that's a good bit of advice. Jimmy Kirby, welcome, Jimmy, says, you always have a good show. When is the next auction show? Well, Jimmy, that will be tomorrow. And then the Fanatics Collect premiere auction with Adam Gray. Our first one since live from New York will be on Thursday, this coming Thursday, the 16th, I believe it is. Now, Leighton, I just want to, because you mentioned that gentleman and his cards, those high grade iconic cards.
It was insane.
And as you were describing, I'm like, I've seen these cards. I just saw them yesterday, and Called Shot Cards reminded me who put out the video. So Tony on Southern Collector did post a video of that guy's collection.
Well, to be fair, I don't know. I don't want to out anyone. So I didn't know exactly what the scoop was. And, Jeremy, you're talking about easily well over $1 million, but it might have been a few $1 million of cards. And I wanted to be careful of,
Of course.
Sorry.
But because you did talk about it and people might be like, I'd like to see these, you can see them.
Great.
Southern
Well, you should check it out. Tony from Southern Collector was there. Yeah. He's awesome. Just because Al's a friend of mine and I'm personally bidding in his auction tonight, if we could give a brief shout out, Love of the Game Auctions ends tonight. And we were set up next to their booth at the show. Andrew, Al wasn't there because, he's back at the office, but they have some great photos and some great, pre-war stuff. So check it out, if you're a collector and interested in that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Love of the Game Auctions. LOTG is, I don't know what the website is exactly.
You know me. LOTG, you know me. So
I actually was on their website earlier today looking at the auction because I was aware that it was ending. It ends today. Yeah, like you said.
Yeah,
today.
So in other words, you have to have your initial bids in already before 9. But the auction, the way he operates is, and don't quote me, check the site, but I believe he has a double he calls it like a double something. In other words, at 1 a.m., if an item hasn't had a bid in the last hour, that item will end. However, if the item if the item is received a bid in the last hour up until 1 a.m., it will continue, and the auction will not end until there's not been a bid on any item for 15 minutes. So I will not be staying up that late. I'll be placing ceiling bids. Take that for what it's worth. I cannot do that.
Are you putting a bid on this Nagurski?
No comment.
Look at that card. What a fantastic copy of this card. Recently graded PSA 5, 95,000 right now. Stunning copy, at least on the front. Incredible copy. Wow. Holy moly, what a copy that is.
He's got such an eclectic, awesome auction. Anything from like an insanely rare signature of Pete Hill to complete sets, to Ruth cards, to pre-war, to some cards like I've never even seen before. I know that when I have to stop and I don't bid on a card, but if I've not seen a type card of that card, I have to look.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, I'm gonna do a couple comments here late. First of all, Orlando posted a couple or at least one. He did a.
What's up, Orlando?
Yeah, Orlando. Hello, Orlando. But
he was there.
Is or was
he might be at the trade night. Yeah, I don't know, but there's a trade night tonight.
Yeah, he was there. He put up a video. I watched it earlier today, a nice walkthrough video. So check out Orlando's videos, check out Tony Southern Collectors, check out Greg.
I'm sure I missed a few names. Yes, I hope I try to cover as many as I could. Yes.
All these guys put out some there's lots of videos out there. already. There's Mookie Chilson, who you were mentioning. And I didn't see Mookie on any videos, but I know that he was behind the camera on several of the videos that I was watching. So that was pretty cool to see Mookie doing that. Carter's Cardboard said, I met Leighton today at the show. He gave my dad a t-shirt. Very nice. Carter's Cardboard. Double O.
Oh, yeah. I don't think we had a kid's t-shirt with us. We had a very limited supply because we flew.
Double O says, how many tables were there for both sides of the show? Do you know how many tables there were at Strongsville?
No, I don't.
Okay, no worries. Jimmy Kirby says, Mark and Leighton are great guys. Their auction wire AI site is great. Found a very rare M116 Jack Berry grade 10, only 2 exist. Well, there you go.
Oh my God, Jeremy, that's a guy I interviewed today. Mark's like, listen, I want you to do a piece of content. I'm like, what's going on? I got to leave. Literally, I had an Uber already called. Yeah, this is the guy at the end. He goes, Leighton, I'm going to get him over here. Can you do a video in like 3 minutes? I said, yes. We have one take. That's all we can do. The guy literally found an M116 SGC 98 Gem Mint example, which if you know anything about the M116 set, there's virtually no Gem Mint examples around. And he found it using auction wire. And so we wanted to ask him about the experience. Yeah.
Amazing. Auction wire. Affiliate link below, everybody. Use the code SCL for 60 days.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, absolutely. Check it out.
Absolutely. Check it out. Bob Boozlo says, hi, Jeremy. How much room you got on this cards, bro? Yeah, absolutely. I only had one. At the Edmonton show, I had one young kid. This guy was probably 14 years old. Comes up to me. His first question is, what percent do you sell at? What percent do you sell at? I'm like, percent of what? Percent of what? Like percent of what? Like, I don't know. I don't know how to answer. That's a question that is unanswerable. It makes no sense. Percent of what? Oh my, that was the only experience I had like that. Jim Sholey says, today at the card show, many people were very disappointed at PSA service costs and low grades. Sorry to hear. 90s auctions, e-cards 100% tougher than T-cards, says Josh at 90s auctions. Chris C, if the youth wants to learn about vintage, then they will. It helps if their dad teaches them. Absolutely. Jeff Wills, a 53 Satchel and a 1956 Grayback Maze now reside at my house. Local show packed. No signs of slowing down. Good to hear, Jeff, that the local show is going strong. Craig says, I saw the 56s from that purchase in your case, Leighton. Very sharp cards. Bobby Burrell says, Menzie is Steve Menzie. He runs the Expos and the Strongsville show. Says in February, he had a collector super show in Toronto in Hall 5, where the Expo is held. Same format as Strongsville. Sports cards on one half, TCG on the other, separated by an 8-foot wide red carpet. Worked very well. Thanks for that, Bobby. I did not make it to that one show. Mr. Manos, always awesome when collectors gather, like-minded fun, no doubt. Anthony says, it's great to hear these stories, Leighton. It's always good to give back in any way to help others. I love when the hobby does it. Mookie Chilson says, Leighton and Auction Wire were such amazing supporters of this show. Totally wonderful. And I think Leighton, Sheldon, and Auction Wire would say that Mookie Chilson was a wonderful supporter of it, right? Yeah, absolutely. And there's Tony, Southern Collector. It's his channel that has the video with all those cards Leighton was talking about.
Yeah.
Tony,
the gentleman's name is Dave. Shout out to Dave. He was so kind and almost gave me heart palpitations, but it was awesome.
Tony, thank you for putting that video out. Those cards were amazing. I was drooling here at my desk as I was looking at them, but glad you had a good time, buddy. And then Sundin says, where the heck is Strongsville? It's in Ohio. He's been hearing it for a year or more, but no clue. It is in Ohio, very close to Cleveland. Okay. We've got David Chase in the back. David is currently, David, give me a thumbs up. You good? All right, let's bring him on, Leighton. Let's add David Chase. There he is. What's up, buddy?
What's going on? How does my voice sound? I feel like I'm echoing, huh?
You are good. I'm not good. There you go. You are good. You're
Cool.
you're in the hotel room, so you were maybe going to come in from the lobby. Lobby's shut down. What's going on, buddy?
Well, first of all of these other collectors are old farts and they're too tired. They had to go relax and go to bed. Listen, it's 11 o'clock over here. So, I mean, these vintage guys are very tired at 11 o'clock. So they need their beauty sleep for tomorrow.
Oh my God, I'm exhausted, but I wanted to make sure I said hi, David, and connected. I wish we had more time.
We didn't hang out enough, Leighton. I know.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It
We kept passing each other.
It was a brief time. But Jeremy, if I may, because I'm going to run in a minute. I really am exhausted. But I wanted to do something fun with your permission.
Permission granted.
Great. So, guys, listen, there was a lot of stuff thrown at us at the Tops conference. I did ask for John to come, but they would only give us one ticket, and it's like a whole thing, right? So anyway, they do at the end give you these 3 packs of cards, which apparently people really like them. This is what it is. It's like a Tops something or other industry conference. They give you 3 packs. So I'm going to open one with my son tomorrow. I'm going to bring one to the office. I'm going to give it away somehow to the Just Collect community. But what I've decided is I'd like to do, as long as you have this ability, Jeremy, I'd like to select a winner right now. And I'm going to actually open it live on air because supposedly each of these cards is something really good. I couldn't tell you what it is, but I believe all the cards are either autographed or limited. They're all going to be numbered. And they're all I don't know, it seems kind of fun. And I think that in the spirit of what I experienced for the last few days, this is a really fun way to do a virtual giveaway. I wouldn't exactly call it breaking, but we could share with the community. And to be clear, you couldn't get these. The only way to get these was to actually go to the Tops Industry Conference, and they only gave 3 per attendee. And so if you can select a winner, Jeremy, let's give it to someone from your community, and I think it'd be fun.
Well, first of all, thank you, Leighton, for doing that.
Pleasure.
And listen, you called it my community. You said your community, but this is the Sports Cards Live community. You are an integral part of it. Joe Poirot, Case, Josh Adams, Chris McGill.
Well, of course. Chris was out there. It was great.
All the sponsors and partners of the show. It is our community, but I'm
not at the Vintage Show, at the Tops conference.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But thank you for that. Thank you, Leighton. So yeah, I just set up a hashtag. So guys, what you need to do to enter this giveaway right now, you need to type hashtag Just Collect into the chat, and we'll do a draw as soon as we get let a couple minutes go by here. You have to type in hashtag Just Collect. It has to be exactly as you see it on the screen right now in order to be entered into the giveaway for the spoils of a pack of the Tops conference.
So I've seen Bryce Harper autos come out. I saw a Fred McGriff Chipper Jones dual auto. It seems like everything is numbered. And I'm just being candid. The modern doesn't mean as much to me as it might mean to someone out there. So if you get it and it doesn't mean as much to you, maybe forward it to someone else and have some good karma coming your way,
Absolutely. This is great. I love this. We can see a lot of the people that are with us right now as well. I see Joe Poirot. There he is. There's my guy, Pleasure Point Joe Poirot.
What's up, Joe? I would say Joe should definitely enter. He's not on the show.
No, anybody can enter. I won't enter. The real Mike Petty says, what happened, Petty? What happened in Ohio? What hopefully you had a good experience, buddy. I hope you had a great experience.
He had a great experience. He's just joking.
He's pettying. It's like, what's the show? Anyone watch the show Shrinking with
Yeah, I did. I like that show.
It's a great show. And what's his name? Jason Segel. His character's name is Jimmy, and he talks about he has a technique for his therapy called jimmying. So is Petty just pettying right now?
He's 100% petty.
By the way, how good is Harrison Ford in that, man? He's awesome.
It's a great show. That and The Pit are two of my
Interesting. I haven't checked that one.
Oh, The Pit. It's the best. It's just unbelievable. Moonshine made Petty sick is what Confluence is saying.
Oh, I have a story about that. Don't you worry. That's coming up.
All right, good. Well,
dude, David, someone unnamed. I didn't know the gentleman's name, but I get there. I couldn't have been in the hotel for more than a half hour. He's like, "You want to come out to the car?" I'm walking outside. I'm thinking he's going to show me a collection. He's like, "I got some moonshine." I'm like, "Dude,
that's my friend.
That's my
friend from West Virginia."
I'm like, "David, I can't do that. What's going on here, man? I can't do that."
You know what? You're a smarter man than me, Leighton, because I definitely partaked with Petty in the parking lot.
Listen, late at night, maybe, man. But I just got there. It's like, I'm gonna be. It's not good. It's not good for me.
I know. We weren't very smart. It was a tough morning for all of us, but you know what? We had a good time.
All right, guys. We've got 61 entries, and we seem to be halted there at 61 entries. So to anybody who's going to hear this, if you're behind, I'm sorry. But we're going to do 62. The 62nd entry just came in from TCG Sports Cards. So we have 62 entries. I'm seeing 200 people here between exactly 200 people in here right now with us. And we only have 63. But I guess if you're watching on Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, Facebook, you should be able to enter. Looks like everyone is entering from YouTube. So we have 64 now. Look at that. A couple more getting in. We got 65.
Let's get to
All right.
70, guys. Come on, let's get to 70.
Oh, don't make yourselves crazy. I just want to have some fun and open it for you guys.
Well,
I'm actually really excited to open it.
There's 66, Leighton. All right. That's Mario Lemieux's number. No,
It's a good
67.
Oh.
As my kids would say.
Foul
67.
ball.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you feel free to shut me off now, everybody.
Yeah. I think that's when we take out the moonshine, Jeremy. I would take moonshine right now. I'd be asleep in 2 seconds after this day.
Leighton, I wish. We have to call our friends from West Virginia and meet them downstairs.
Yeah, it's funny.
All right. I'm showing 67 on the screen. All right, guys. We're going to do a quick countdown from 10 here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Good luck, everybody. Good luck, everybody. Who's going to take it home tonight? Dave Leighton, 8118. Congratulations on the win. There we go. So, Leighton, we're going to tell Dave. This is going to be, he's going to reach out to you directly. So, Dave, how do you want, hold on one sec, Leighton. How do you want him to get a hold of you?
Just tell him to reach out to John@justcollect.com.
John at justcollect.com. JOHN at justcollect.com, Dave. Reach out to him and they'll get you hooked up. Okay.
All right. Good luck.
Good luck with the spoils now.
Come on, Leighton.
Let's see what he pulls here. We're going to spotlight Leighton now. There we go. Auto of Garrett Cole.
Now it says it's a Garrett Cole rookie auto. Oh my God, it's a rookie auto black number to 100.
Whew. Wow.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Dave Leighton.
Well, congratulations, Dave. Jeremy, this was a lot of fun. I'm going to run, brush my teeth, read my son a story, probably fall asleep doing it.
Thank you, Leighton, for that giveaway. That was awesome. And thank you to StreamYard, the platform that has that giveaway feature.
That's a cool feature. Yeah.
And they just added a feature that I've been wanting for years. They just today announced they've added the ability to do polls on the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. First time. Finally.
That's great. Very
6
cool.
years I've been asking for it, and they got it. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, Leighton.
Excellent.
Well, glad you had a great time at Strongsville. Hope your time at the Tops conference was instructive, if nothing else, and you had a good time there seeing people. We'll see you back here maybe next week or the week after.
Real soon.
The week after will be a show. It's the week after that there will be no show because of the Toronto Expo, which you are coming up to, I believe.
Yes. So maybe I'll hop on next week, but we'll talk, I'm sure, during the week. Dave, it's good to see you. Wish we could have hung more, but take care, everybody. I'll see you real soon.
Thanks,
Bye,
Leighton. Take care, bud. All right. Well, there we go. Called Shot says Chase is operating on LA time. You did have that advantage on the vintage elderly, David.
I know, and you know what? It's killed me for insomnia. I've been up since till 3 o'clock in the morning every day, while everyone goes to bed at 10:30 at night. So I'm catching up on YouTube.
You're back on the show floor tomorrow?
No, I'm leaving early in the morning. I'm flying. I'm out of here.
So you're done. You're done
I'm
at
done.
the show.
I'm done. But I did 2 full days.
Seems like
Yeah, you have to remember, right? It's like a 200 table show, right? On the vintage side, right? 200 vintage, 200 modern, which we'll talk about. But you can see the show in a day, right? And going the second day, you're seeing the show one more time, which you actually kind of need to do, right? So 2 days is enough here. And you know what? It is very hard to get a direct flight from Cleveland. So I didn't have very many choices. If I could choose, I probably would have chose 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but instead I get to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Lucky me.
So tell us how your experience was. I mean, I saw you on a few videos that I happened to catch, whether it was Greg's or Orlando's or Tony's or whomever's I watched. I saw you on a couple videos, so you were definitely out there and social. I saw you on the stage doing a panel with the four collectors guys. You subbed in for Dan, who needed his mid-afternoon nap, as they were joking. So you got to do all that. Share the experience. Let people know. People want to hear from you. So I'll just, like I did with Leighton when he came on, the floor is yours.
It was this is a crazy experience. And you know what? So I've only been to the National. This is the first time I've ever been in Strongsville. And this is like sleepover camp, Like it really is, you know. And by the way, this is such a surreal experience for me because you guys have to remember, I've never been on YouTube before until like 2 months ago, right? So like I've always been going to whatever shows I want to, and then like I walk into the lobby for my first time with my bag late on Thursday night, and like people started like David Chase, like it was just a very weird, surreal, and I felt very loved from the community, and it was just like such a special feeling that I literally will never forget. And just like going around and hanging out and talking to like all of these people who like I consume a lot of content, you know, so these are like, this is my entertainment, you know. I don't watch very much regular TV. I love these YouTube channels that everybody puts their heart and soul into, you know. And so like hung out with them, did all of that. And then like, as you're hanging out with people and doing things and going to lunches and going to dinners, then you have the most epic card show to go to for 2 days in a row. And what this is it's literally like going to the National, but all right, I know that, you know, you're into modern right now, Jeremy, and everybody, but for me, I'm boring into vintage, and every single table you stop at. I've never experienced that at a show before, right?
Oh, hold on. You say, I know, Jeremy, you're in. I've always been into modern and vintage. But,
I know.
But this is also a guy who I sent him pictures of 5 vintage cards to look out for me. No modern cards. So
that's true.
I mean,
that's because, you know, I would have ignored your text if you told me the modern cards. I wouldn't have known what to look for anyway.
That would have been fair.
So, I mean, it's crazy where I'm, you know, my local shows that I go to, even like West Coast Card Show, right? It's like 1 out of 10 tables I'm stopping at, you know, and that's an all sports talk show. But most of these are Pokemon shows, and you are literally going from one table to the next, and all of them are just beating each other. Like, it's crazy the amount of stuff that you see there, one of a kind things, crazy graded things. I mean, people brought out the big guns for this show, you know. So just walking around, and then the craziest thing is the people that like you meet and hang out with from the night before. It is like, so it's spread out, but at the same time, you are running into everybody every row you walk down. So like you are looking at a card, and then like you run into somebody, you know, and you start talking to them about their card, what they see, everything. And it is just such a different feeling than when I've gone to every other show and just been a loner, you know, and doing it all by myself. Maybe call my dad, right? And he pretends to be entertained with what I'm looking at. But these people really pretend very well that they're entertained with what I was looking at. So it's just, it's a very special feeling of a place. People that, I might have a guest that's coming in.
Go ahead.
I'll
run. Oh, go ahead. Let's see.
Do the chat. 30 seconds.
Yeah. That's great. Go ahead. I'm just looking through some comments here. All these comments are for Dave, so I can't bring them up until.
All right, wait. Can you say I have a special guest, but he'll come in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
Or in 2 minutes. So, now he's like literally watching me, and this is really weird. All right, so
who is it? Can you tell us who it is?
No, I can't tell you who it is. This is going to be. Let's just say this, okay? In my opinion, we have the vintage king. Okay, that's here. That's all I'm going to say. But we're going to talk. You're going to see him in 2 minutes.
All right.
So let me finish kind of with Strongsville. So again, I've never felt more loved. Like, this is the biggest ego boost you could ever. If you have any kind of channel, and even if you don't, you probably should have a channel, because this will help your self-esteem coming here and being part of this community, you know, like, and I'm telling you, you have no idea how many strangers come up to you and just say like how much like they enjoy your stuff. Jeremy, I mean, I'm telling you, like, how much love and support that you feel, like literally every 5 minutes that you're walking around a show, because these are our people, you know, the people that go to the National is so spread out, and there's so many different people that go to it. But in reality, Strongsville, the people that will fly and make a trip is the community that is here, that are in the chat right now, and on supporting all of these YouTube channels, which is it's just a really crazy, one of a kind experience. You know?
Amazing to hear. I'm glad you had such a good experience. And, you know, like you said, you've been on YouTube for 2 months. You've been, right. You came on, I met you at the West Coast Card Show in February. 2 months ago, probably this weekend, actually, or so, right? And you came on the show, we became Insta friends, and now you're a regular on the show. But that says more about you than anything else. You know, you're well, yeah. So listen, I'm glad that, you know,
I appreciate that, and I love that. We're gonna talk more, but let's bring in the Vintage King. Okay. In my opinion, I always say this: the #1 YouTube show. Okay. One of the best people that walks on this earth. I love this man. He is my friend. He is a great YouTube host.
Must be.
I can't.
I'm not guessing. I'm not guessing.
Come over. Let me. Here you guys go. Here's a special treat for all of you.
All right. Let's see who we got here. Are we guessing in the chat? We do have some. There he is.
Everybody.
What is up? We got midlife Greg Miller live from the David Chase hotel room in Strongsville. What's up, buddy?
It's a good one. I mean, Strongsville is unlike anything. And, you know, we'll talk about the pros and the cons of the new location, because there's a lot of talk about that. There are definitely pros and cons. But you know what? Like, as long as the people are here, as long as my buddies are here, and that it's like nothing else, because at the National, it's too big. It's so big that you can't spend as much time with your people, you know. But here, like, every other table are your buddies, and it's just it's a concentration of vintage and vintage collectors and people. It's a lot of the guys I just saw, like, I'm looking at all my people I just hung out with like 30 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago.
That's amazing. It's great. I'm glad you popped into to Dave's room here to come join us. And I want to thank you, Greg, for your videos that you've been putting out. Even one of them, I think you put out before you left, and then you put out show videos like right after the show. So thanks to you and to everyone else, Orlando and Tony and Mike, baseball collector, and everyone else who's done it. Mike Junk Wax. I mean, everyone's been putting out these videos, and it's been great. Oh, look at that. You got Tony wants to know where to go to get in on the show here. So
what room are you? Okay. David doesn't want us to say what room we're in. You can text us, Tony.
Tony, text Greg, Tony, and come. Let's get you on the show too.
Tony, he's going to text you. So if you want to hop up, it's only up, it's about 3 floors above you, but we're all staying at the same place. But yeah, I mean, the content's awesome. And the cool thing about the content is, like, it's a different vantage point. So it's a different experience depending on who you're watching. So like, what I do is I download a bunch of videos before I take off. And then the flight home, I watch a bunch of the content, because there's not been time to do it. I mean, I made some big deals. I mean, your boy, I don't know if he said what he's done yet, but David, he did. Oh my God, massive deals. Like, I made 3 of at least the top 10 cards in my collection I picked up in the last 48 hours.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it's just like, there's trades, there's buys, there's selling, there's just.
Did you bring a lot of ammo with you to sell or trade, or are you mostly just buying cards for cash this weekend?
It's a good question. 2 of my big pickups, and I mean, I'll spoil it if you haven't seen my video from.
I did see the one where I saw you counting out. I think, like, it's right on the video. I think you count out like $3,800 for your the green Cobb, or
Cy Young.
The green Cy Young,
Cy Young portrait. So I bought that. But then I sold mine. And if you haven't seen that video, I sold that to Mike Junk Wax Hero. I knew that if I did this buy, that I then had a sale. So that was basically an upgrade. So it didn't cost me that much, because I sold mine to Mike for, I don't know if he said the amount, but low 2s. And then I bought mine for low 3s. So it was about $1,000 to upgrade it. So that was a big pickup for me. That's a big card in a 2.5. And with that eye appeal, it has an eye appeal sticker, you know, and so it's got to be good. Right. And so I'm like, when I did that, it only cost me like $1,000. And then I also upgraded, I like these pirate cards. I know everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I love them. I upgraded my Blackbeard card, which is the key card in the set, from a 2 to a 5. And I did some cards that we had arranged that deal ahead of time. So there was some ammo. In fact, one of the cards, my understanding is maybe you're interested in.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's not a big card, but so I'm watching your video today. I'm watching the video, and David, who's I think doing the camera for you, says, "Oh, that's a card that Jeremy Lee sent me to watch out for him." Yeah. And then the guy you're dealing with shows it, and he goes, "This is the nicest 6 you'll ever see." And I'm like, "That's right up my alley." And I think
gorgeous.
I think you said how much do you sell for? I think you said $1,200 or $1,500. I don't even know what the card's worth. And he goes, "Oh, Jeremy Lee, I'll sell it to him for $250." And I'm like, sold. I'll take it. I don't.
So okay. So here's I don't know if he's serious or not, but the card is a beautiful 6. I bought it raw, and I got it slabbed a few years ago, and it got a 6. And I'm like, oh man, this thing's like I was thinking it had a chance at an 8, and it got a 6. So I'm like, what are we doing? But it's a nice card.
We're talking about the 59 Topps Johnny Unitas, by the way.
Correct. Yeah.
Right now. Yeah.
And so that card was in the deal. And then Cracker Jack, Armando Marsans was in the deal. And then there was cash. So I had some card equity. I had some cash. But then part of the deal on that card, too, was I traded my 2 to him. So that was a lot of it. So I was just doing the upgrade tax because I went from a 2 to a 5. But this 5 is phenomenal 5. And so that didn't cost that much. So then I brought a fair amount of money, and then I brought a few cards to sell. So then I made a couple of deals, sold about $1,000 worth of cards. And all of a sudden I'm like, I still got some money, man. The door is knocking. We've got a line of folks.
Between each person. Okay.
So you've got a whole lineup. So I don't know what you have planned for the next 20 minutes, but you're covered.
We're good. We're gonna have Joe should be with us in about 5 minutes, and then Chris and Josh at the top of the hour. So we got some time, but we can sub people in.
Okay, I guess I'm going long. They're giving me the shepherd's crook. So
all right, well,
I'm like
Greg,
Gonzo on the stage. Yeah.
A couple things. First, thank you for your content from Strongsville. I've appreciated. I know many other people have. Just I'm so happy that you're having such a great time with everybody. I wish I was there. I know many other people do too. So have a great time. Are you there tomorrow or are you done?
I am done. I go home early tomorrow. But I do want to say that equal to the biggest pickup of my life, the most I've spent on a card, ties the record, happened today. So that video is going to probably post tomorrow evening because I'm swamped. But so big card is still out there for people to check out. But I'm going to pass this off because you've got some absolute like bangers coming up with these guys. All right, here we go.
Let's go, buddy.
Wait, let me have it. All right, let me announce the next person.
All right,
so
Dave.
We have another legend. Okay, another YouTube legend that is about to hit the stage. Okay, one of the greatest channels. If you want to learn about Negro Leagues, if you want to learn about Ted Williams, if you want to learn about Lou Gehrig or autographed cards,
or Larry
who do
Doby.
you go to? Who do you go to, Jeremy?
You go to Tony.
You go to Tony.
Let's go to Tony. Oh, we are in.
Lord have mercy, man. That's a big one right there.
What's up, buddy? How are you? How's the experience so far?
Oh, we're having a blast. I don't have a voice. It's been pretty amazing. I don't know. You know, I came with an open mind and it's exceeded my expectations. So yeah, well, that's always a good time.
Good. You pick up some cards. I see in the chat someone was asking you what you picked up. Have you shown it yet, or do you want to share? Or
I haven't shown it. I shouldn't even have said what it was, but yeah, I'm gonna show it on my video on Tuesday. But let me just say this. So like sometimes you know the Beatles song, I get by with little help from my friends.
Sing it.
I ain't gonna sing the rest of it. That's Petty's line. But anyways, David Chase is standing there as I'm buying the card. And this guy, man, he's not a full-time dealer, but he has a sick case. And the card is more than I have cash. And the dude's only taking cash. And like, I can't go to the ATM and get this amount of cash. And so I'm working out a deal with him that I'm going to give him a down payment. He's going to take it out of his case. He's going to take it home. I'm going to mail him a check. He's going to let the check clear. He's going to mail me the card. It's a huge hassle, but the card's that special. So Mr. Chase is standing there. He goes, Tony, I got that much cash on me. I'll cover you. You can just Venmo me. And so we worked out a deal. I walk away with the card. And again, that's community at its best. What can I say, man? So tip of the hat to David. It was I appreciate you, brother. But anyways, it was awesome.
That's great. I love hearing that. Very nice of him to do that, and good for you. That happened to me at the West Coast Card Show. Dave Denzel, who's a big star guy, he did for me what David did for you. I didn't have enough cash, and he lent me, and I PayPal'd him, and all was good. That's wonderful when you can get that done. So you're excited about this card? I mean, let me ask you this. Are you more excited about the cards you picked up at the West Coast Card Show or at the Strongsville show?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat what I came home with from the West Coast Card Show.
Yeah, the Jordan.
But every card has a story, right? And I was telling the dude today, like I collect stories. They're just in the shape of cardboard. Okay. Yeah. This one has a story, and wait until you hear the story behind this one. And it could be a little controversial. I'm just going to say it.
When can we expect the video to come out on the Southern Collector 14 channel?
It's going to be 7 a.m. Eastern Tuesday morning, normal broadcast time for Southern Collector content. But jumping into another thing, it's the people you meet, man. Like I'm sitting there just chilling today because my dogs are barking. I'm sitting down. There's this dude sitting next to me. We start sharing our love for baseball and the stories behind it. He doesn't know who I am, and he shouldn't know who I am. I'm a nobody anyways. So we're talking about history, and I happen to mention, hey, I talk a lot of history on my channel. And he's like, really? You got a YouTube channel? I don't watch YouTube. I said, you should check it out. So anyways, he texts me a couple hours later because we exchanged numbers. You remember the Morehouse baking find?
Yeah.
With the Ruths?
Yeah.
This is the cat who had the garage sale, who they told him, and he went and found the cards and like reached out to Heritage. He's coming on my channel to tell the whole story. So, nice. I mean, that's just a happenstance meeting. We Incredible. Hit it off. Great guy, but it's going to be an awesome episode. They hear the first person account of how all that went down. And anyway, so it's not just the cards, it's the people you meet and the stories, that you come home with. So I'm pretty fired up.
The random encounter. Yeah, you seem super fired up. The random encounters and all that that's amazing. We have to say to Orlando, get on over to David Chase's room. Let's get you on here too. This has been great. We got because the original, I was talking to David about this the other day, and we thought, okay, maybe he thought maybe he'll do this from the lobby and different guys will come on. That didn't work out, so we're doing it from the room, but now it's working out that we got Greg, we got you. Let's get Orlando on there. Orlando, come on.
All right, here's David. No. He's got to do the next
All right, introduction. Let me give the introduction.
We already have someone else.
I have somebody else. We have somebody else, Jeremy. You just sit back, Jeremy. Relax a little bit, okay? Okay, let us take over. All right. You ready for the next guest? This is at the moment to the last guest, but there's a chance somebody could come back. But who we have next is the king of YouTube. Okay, this guy I literally call the king of YouTube. The person that made get out of here, Greg. That's not you. And this guy I love as much as anyone. He is one of the greatest people that walks on this earth. He's hilarious. He's funny. He's the most generous person. And everyone knows him as Mike Mofo Petty. Here you go.
Oh, God.
The king.
Well, please welcome Mike Petty. Oh, look at this.
Holy shnikes. How
look
the hell
at this.
ever.
What's going on, luscious lips?
My God. Is this thing on?
This thing is on. How are you, Mr. Petty?
Dude, this was some show. I'm beat like a redheaded stepchild. I can hardly talk. Lost my voice. I must have gained at least 30 pounds with this weight of 4,000 calorie meal this morning, flapjacks. I was already a flapjack away from $3 Now look at me. I'm over 3. These people can eat out here in Cleveland. And you know what else? The drinking.
This is a family show.
Is this
might I remind you? Yes, this is on. Might I remind you? This is a family show, Mr. Petty.
Well, these guys are all family. We're all family here, so what the hell? All right, so, other than it being just stifling hot in the place, and there's just a germ factory going on in this little high school gym, it was a great show.
Good to hear.
I hear a door knock.
Oh,
this is like the cage match. You know what I mean? If somebody enters the ring. No, but anyway, what these guys have said already before, it can't be understated how much fun it was. I mean, this is the second or third year in a row that I've actually drank moonshine in the parking lot of a hotel. Not only that, Eartha Kitt made an appearance. And yeah, that's an inside joke, but I am a heavy equipment operator.
See, right now he's here. He's entertaining the people in the hotel room more than.
Oh shit! So I've fired my friend. Anyway,
how's the show? Yeah. Mike? How's the show?
The show was actually pretty good. I mean, like I said, the stifling. Don't let it fool you that it was 65 degrees out and 90 inside towards the back, because
we weren't there. We weren't there. But how are the cards?
The cards are pretty good. You know, they weren't that stale from the last show or two. I didn't see many from that I saw last year. But no, the cards were really amazing. You guys would be happy to know, too, Jeremy, you especially. The first card that I finally bought literally was today, and it was a hockey card of all things.
Oh, what'd you get?
I got a Bobby Orr.
What, a rookie or a?
He shoots. He scores.
What year?
I think it was like a 1970 or something. It was just it was one of the first hockey cards I had as a kid. I think we talked about it. I told you that was the card I was going to get. Nice. I found a nice one, and yeah, but it was really, we had a great time. The food out here, the friendships, can't be understated. There was so many people out here that I just want to thank for giving us such a warm welcome. I can't tell you how many. There must have been 100 people or more came up to us. Oh, said we really like your show, and you're really funny. Tell it like it is, and I said, yeah, I'm just trying to make people laugh and all that, but. Yeah, it was really fun. I really urge anybody that has a chance to try to do something like this. And again, I'm losing my voice. Last night I was singing, I Think I Love You, and I don't know what the hell I was doing. But
well, good. It's good.
It was fun.
I'm glad to hear that you're having a good time. You're hanging out with a bunch of the fellas. That's always fun.
They're a sponsor.
CIA auctions. Auction ends tomorrow. Yeah, all good, buddy. That's great. Well, listen, glad you're having fun. Mr. Petty.
I won't put the next guest on. Any questions?
Any questions? Anybody?
Nobody has any questions about Eartha Kitt that came from the heavy equipment operator? All right. I'll leave it up to the host here, David. Thanks, David. Bye, guys.
I love this crew.
It's interesting. We don't need the mic on those headphones just to hear, huh? Just to hear.
Can you hear my voice from way outside? My booming loud.
Not as well while it's on, but is there anyone else in the room, or is that everybody?
Right now, there's nobody else that wants to come on. Oh, wait.
Oh, we have another.
Would you? Yes. Oh my God.
Who is it?
All right. I have a person who does not usually do this. This is a special treat that we have right now. This is a person that does not come on to these kind of shows, but is a longtime friend of this show, is a longtime friend of every show, Hall of Fame chatter, and one of the nicest, sweetest people that I met this weekend that I will tell you is going to be one of my lifelong friends, and his name is Mookie Chilson.
Oh, this is huge. This might be a YouTube debut. Is this your YouTube debut? Is this your YouTube debut?
This is not my live stream debut, but this is my sports card live debut for sure, 100%.
Well, we will take it, Mr. Mookie Chilson. It is great.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, my friend?
I learned a couple things this weekend. Number one, Mike Petty pays for every bill. Number 2, Mike Petty is a moonshine hound. And number 3, Mike Petty threw potatoes at cars in high school. Also, Tony the Southern Collector wears a Pee-wee sized baseball protector.
He's sitting there. He's typing into the chat right now. He's chatting right now from that room.
Jeremy, we miss you here, buddy. The show is amazing. The promoters have done an outstanding job doing a lot of heavy lifting to make this commensurate with what we experienced last year. And I think they deserve a ton of credit for trying to make this the awesome experience that it was. But again, these guys, these lunatics in the room with me here, they're the secret sauce here. So a wonderful experience. We miss you here, Jeremy.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Well, it's great to see you. It's just great to know that you're there. I've seen your fancy video work already this weekend for Greg and some others. So
yeah,
cool. But I'm happy that you're coming on here and showing your face. I think a lot of people are wondering, who is this Mookie Chilson cat? And how do you get to lay eyes on him, guys?
Well, I'm going to do you a favor and take my ugly face off the screen now and give it back to David Chase. And right. I know Joe Poirot is waiting in the wings too. So Adios.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Well,
how awesome was that?
That was great, David. Thank you for facilitating all these guys coming in. Let's bring Joe on. Joe, you want to join? You good? All right, let's bring Joe on. Say goodbye, buddy.
I wish Bob Boozle was coming in next, but
I wanted to bring Joe on to say
what's
hi
up, Joe?
Hey, Joe Poirot.
You guys are up.
Hey, Joe, we miss you, Joe.
We wish you all were here.
I feel
Look at how much fun this is.
Right, goodbye, fellas. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you for coming over.
Thanks again.
Great seeing you guys. All right. Bye, guys.
That's awesome.
All right. Hi, Joe.
Hey, what's up, David?
Man, Joe, don't you wish we were there?
Oh, they're having a blast. I mean, I feel like I've been vicariously experiencing it with all their, it's like they're all doing content and dropping, and even people that aren't in that room are doing content about those guys. So it feels very, very close.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
It's a great group for sure. And it's all because of YouTube. Without YouTube, none of these friendships really form. It's unbelievable how social media has enabled all of this. So yeah, no, that was great, David. It was good to see everybody, and everyone's in a great mood. And even Mr. Mike Petty, who sometimes he comes across a little bit gruffy, but he, like you said, he's one of the sweetest guys you'll ever meet. He really is just a really nice, generous person who's wants to just be good to people. So that was awesome, man.
I feel like the people that don't understand Mike Petty, they wouldn't understand me either, to be honest with you, right? Because I'm serious, because you might say he has a little bit of a hard exterior, but not really. He is just hilarious and funny and sweet. And people that get offended over him he's literally just being silly and wacky. He means no offense, but he's just funny, So yeah. I think it's the people that get like a little offended of him. That's their issue,
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But no, that was a nice treat to see everybody, and I think I was able to guess each one of them when you were doing the intro. I did, especially when you did Greg. I didn't want to guess Greg and it was somebody else,
Yeah, I know, right?
Because that would have been messy. But that's awesome, Joe. What's going on? First of all, welcome. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. We're gonna have Chris and Josh will be popping on here in about 20 minutes or so. But let's get a quick update from you, Mr. Joe Poirot. Guys, one thing I'll tell you about Joe is that he does pick up cards on the regular, and then he'll send me a message like, just pick this up. And you just picked up a really cool card though, actually, that had me going down a rabbit hole. Is it anything you're willing to I've kind of now let the cat out of the bag, but anything you're willing to share on that?
I mean, sure. It's not that, it was a little bit impulsive, but I came across, it was actually the origin of my interest was that they had a highest graded version in the Fanatics Sunday auction. And it was a Pele 1966 crack Figuritas card. And
there it is. I'm showing it on my screen right now. That is actually your copy, Joe.
So that's not the one that went for, over 3K on Fanatics, so I did a little research, and there's basically 20 PSA graded and 1 SGC. So it's a very limited card. And the one on Fanatics was a PSA 3. That's the highest graded example. So, in classic Beater Joe fashion, I did a quick little eBay scroll. After I lost, I dropped out after like 1,500. I was like, oh my God. I mean, and there's just not that many comps of the card either. So then I found one and the PSA vault that was, I think, a best offer of, OBO bin 500 or something. And I threw in, what I thought was a modest yet reasonable price. They accepted, and so it's on the way. It's on the way.
Nice. It's a 1966 Figuritas Tarjeton, maybe Tarjeton. Pele.
Yeah, and
beautiful.
And the connection for me, I mean, along with it, kind of reminded me of the '59 Bob Gibson, is that it's my birth year. So I kind of. It resonated there as like, oh, a birth year, goat.
Very cool. Very, very cool. And then it sent me down because it's 1966. He's got some cards from, I think, 58, kind of rookie year era. And then, but this card, it's like, as Joe and I both noticed, and David, let's ask David, what does this remind you of? What baseball card does that remind you of? People have to, I mean, I spotted it right away.
Are you talking? I don't know. I don't know.
Bob Gibson,
because it's pink. Yeah.
And the oval.
Yeah, I can see that now that you're saying it.
It's a beautiful card. 66 Pele sent me down a bit of a rabbit hole because I don't have a Pele card, but this is just a beautiful full-size card.
I've never seen that card. Did you know that card?
Well, I hadn't either, but like Joe said, there's only 21 known copies as per Card Ladder's Universal Pop Report. So, yeah, really, really cool card.
My first and only Pele card as well.
Yeah, there you go. Lots of comments in the chat about everyone that just popped in with some cameos through David Chase's. They just making stops in the hotel, knocking on random doors, thinking, "Hey, maybe Chase is in here."
I'm glad they found mine because I think it was just a random guess that they chose.
We only missed Orlando. For guys that are in the chat anyway. Would have been great to have you, Orlando, but no, you get some rest, our friend, and we'll see you on here another time. We had Orlando.
And I just went out to dinner with Orlando. We literally just came back with this whole crew, and it was. I've been hanging out with Orlando. It's my first time meeting him in person. I mean, literally, like one of the nicest. All these people are just incredible people. I mean, I know I keep saying that, and it's cheesy, but it's just like I have nothing bad to say. It's just an unbelievable experience.
Yeah, I mean, like that whole flipper community, that whole vintage flipper community. It's a great group of people, right?
It is. We love to flip. You want to see a few pickups?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or is it too late?
No, we can see some pickups. We can definitely
see some pickups.
Let's see what you got.
Let's see.
I'm going to show. Are you showing all your pickups, or what are you doing?
We're not going to be here for for the rest of the show.
Are we seeing what you would consider your best and or favorite pickups?
I'm going to show you my 3 favorite. Do you want me to wait till next week, or should we do it?
No, do it right now.
Okay,
why not?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it, kids. All right. I'm going to first show. So today was trade night, right? Have you ever been to the National Trade Night? Is nothing compared to what this trade night is, right? Because it's all the vintage people. And when you go to the National Trade Night, you walk by the 5,000 tables of the kids that are flippers that are literally dealers that are trying to do it. These are like the community's cards that they're trying to do, that they don't want to sell to dealers. They want to sell to us. The dealers try to come into our trade night. We know you dealers that are there, but we make you guys wait outside for like an extra hour so the collectors can kind of be in first. And so here's the first one. I walked around the room and I saw this card, and I could not believe what I saw. And I picked this up, like literally I stood there. He didn't have his cards priced. And I said, I'm standing here until you price this card. And I knew in my mind, I'm buying it like it's going to be very hard to price me out of this thing because it's a 1. And it's Ted Williams rookie.
Ooh.
But like it is perfectly centered. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Why? What? You know, Jeremy, what I like. Joe, you know what I like? Baby got bad back. Right?
Yeah.
See, look at that. Oh, turned off. Everybody hates that. Not me. I love my look. I mean, how crazy is this card? Right?
The front is beautiful. That front is gorgeous.
Yeah. So I got that at trade. So I saw the guy have that out. I was like, all right, I'm just going to stand here until you
So
give me
what
card.
for the listeners, what you just showed was the 39
play ball Ted Williams rookie.
In a PSA 1 holder.
PSA 1. The front looks incredible. There's a little bit of dirty.
It's an SGC 1 with the front is great, but the back has some paper loss. But
the back has some paper loss. That's the goal in life, is to find cards for me that have that scenario. Number 2.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful card, Dave. Good job.
Thank you, Joe.
Looks like a 5 or a 5.5 maybe.
Thank you. Oh, I even got the half a grade on top. I love that, Joe. Thank you for that.
For the perfect
So, all right. First of all, I have to just bring this up. I only have like 200 cards. I brought 50 cards to sell. Okay. I told you I was blowing up my collection. I sold 35.
Wow.
Okay? So I made a dent, and
that's why you could lend Tony some money.
That's why I was able to lend Tony some money, because thankfully people liked my cards that I brought. This is a card that, because I'm such a Leaf head, I started walking around the show with Brian Capel. I learned that's how you say his last name, who wrote the book on Leaf. So, I'm a crazy Leaf guy, and I'm like hanging out with the guy who literally wrote the book, and we are going through talking about Leaf cards. And then I saw this card, which I saw on Facebook one time, and I start asking him about it. And he said he thinks it's the only one in existence. It's a 48 Leaf Joe DiMaggio with no black ink.
Hey, David, just tilt the top of the card or the bottom of the card towards the camera. Yeah, that way we can see it a bit better. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Look at that. Okay, hold it there. Go ahead.
So the guy called it the ghost of Joe DiMaggio, right?
Wow.
So the Leaf guy said there's 4 of them that are printed at one time, but they went into different stacks. So there's a good chance that quality control got rid of the few, and in his mind, it's the only one that's known in existence. But there could be 4 of them. But
so that is a 48 Leaf Joe DiMaggio in an SGC authentic holder where the card is missing the black printing plate.
So he looks kind of like a ghost, right? Isn't it like such a crazy, like his jersey is completely white. He has like a red, it's just a weird looking card. Only psychopaths like me love this stuff, Like cool. A normal person would look at this card and be like, that's the ugliest Joe DiMaggio card. I want one that's like beautiful and like right here, right? Jeremy's like, that registration's horrible.
Well, it reminds me a little bit of the Frank Thomas no name on front, where it's a printing mistake more than anything else. But listen, 48 Leaf is a small set. So if you want to like collect the oddities of it, that's definitely one of them. Whereas with the Frank Thomas no name on front card, which I'm critical, I'm just not a fan of it. There aren't really, it's not really a set filled with oddities. It's a different beast than the 48 Leaf, basically.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, I was floored to see that card and to be with the guy that wrote the book while I'm looking at it. It was just
you could ask him all the questions you needed to.
Exactly. And he was just and he's a talker. He can talk, and he was telling me all about it. And I loved it though. I soak it in. All right. Last one that I'm going to show. Okay. Because I don't want to bore you guys too much, but this is the car that I told people I was waiting on to buy. I made the deal prior to going to Strongsville. I was selling a lot of my collection based on it. And I'm even going to describe for 1 second how I ended up getting it. I was buying a short print card from this dealer, and he heard the show. He heard about me losing the Jackie, and he let me know that he had a Jackie Robinson that was new to the hobby world, right? A grandfather died, left it to his granddaughter. He bought it raw, got it sent in, and he showed me a picture of it. And I said, oh my God, I love that card. And he was super nice. His name is Mark Humerick. He works with Rings and Swings. He's like a leaf head also like me. And so I ended up upgrading my Jackie to this SGC 3.
Oh, so after missing out on the big PSA 1 for around $30K, you end up with an SGC 3.
With way less than half of what that other one would have cost me.
And beautiful. Are you as happy with this as you would have been with the one that you know of? I know it's hard to say because you can't see the one in hand, or you haven't seen it in hand, but
I'm going to be honest. You ready for me to be honest about this? Well, I think that
I expect you to be honest. So yeah.
Thank you, Jeremy. I'm going to be. I love the one more. Okay, I really do. But you know what? It is a hell of a consolation prize, right? I love this card. I do not need to upgrade it. And you know what? There is a big part of me that loves saving the money and be able to buy other crazy things, right? With the savings that I was able to get by not getting that card in a 1. And some of my hobby friends are thinking, they think it's a better investment to get it in a 3 compared to the 1, because the 1, who knows if I could ever sell it again for a crazy kind of price again. I could argue that till the cows come home. But I think the 1 is a better card, but I still love this card. So it's okay. Good. I can say that. She understands. She's not going to, be too upset at me.
Well, no, I wish you both a long, healthy, prosperous life together. I'm very happy for you that you found a card. You found that card. That's great. And I'm glad you're willing to share it. So very cool, man. Congrats. All three. The 48 leaf DiMaggio is one of my favorite cards that I picked up my copy at the National last year when I was on the hunt for the 41 play ball. Joe knows well. It was the top card on my want list last year. And when I found it at the National, it was right beside the 48 leaf. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm picking up the pair now. Just a matter of negotiating. And the seller was great to deal with. And I ended up with both of them. And just such amazing cards, man. And the Ted Williams, another, just a great card, an iconic card. You picked up some beasts there. And of course, the Jackie. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Joe? What do you think of the pickups?
Oh, I'm excited. I think that looks just like you'd want a Jackie to look. I mean, it's got good color, good centering. It's all, tuxedoed up, so it kind of pops out of that case in the black with the yellow and the blues in the background. So congratulations, David.
Well, thank you. I'm flying high. I'm flying home without a plane going back from Strongsville,
Well, Jeff Wills here says the show went up a notch with the Jackie. And then Mike Petty says it's one of the nicest Jackie Leafs you'll ever see. So, and again, we just had Petty on the show. So he's back in his hotel room and he's got the show on. I love it. Petty, thank you for still.
He's definitely brushing his hair. That's for sure.
He's brushing his hair. Hey, he says good things happen to good people. Oh. Absolutely. Chris C says if I had that budget, it would be like Cookie Monster at a crumb. That's what these card shows.
Well, that's why I sold my collection. That's why I sold 35 cards so I could have a play date and go crazy.
What did you said, you had about I think you said you have about a 200 card collection or something like that, and you sold 35 of them. What, the cards you sold, are these cards you're not going to miss? Were they all vintage baseball? What did you sell to get that? And once you're done that story, we're going to swap out and bring Josh and Chris on.
Got it. A lot of them were cards that I ended up getting a little bit earlier in my progression of this journey. And I became more and more picky with centering and registration. So a lot of them were, at the time that I bought them, I thought they were centered, but as time went on, they bugged me, right? They were a little bit less than what I wanted. And I'm going to give you an example of a card that maybe the only one that I'll probably miss a little bit is a 41 play ball DiMaggio. I actually got that at West Coast Card Show a year and a half ago or something. And I knew when I bought it, I got it for a really good deal. And that's why I bought it. And I don't usually do that, but it's a card that I've always wanted. And I just can never find a centered, beautiful copy like Jeremy got because he swiped that at the National, I guess, the table before I got there. But that's a card that I've always really, really wanted. And this one was a little bit off center and it wasn't by much. It still looks great, but it bugged me and I knew I was going to upgrade it. So do I need to wait to buy the new one before I get rid of it? I'm trying to be a big boy, and I can get rid of it because I know I'm going to get it in the future, and I can still buy the cards that I love. And I don't want to look at a card and say, I really like it, but I want to get another one. Move it out. Fire sale. Let's get rid of it. Let's get the new ones in. And people, this market is crazy, okay? We are able to sell at such crazy prices. I am not exaggerating, and I mean, hate me all you want. I probably sold 90% of these at all-time highs, okay? So like, and people understand who are crazy people like me. So, you know, this is the time to do it. And who knows what next year will bring. So I know, Jeremy, you want to bring the rest of the crew in. I appreciate all of you. You know, I love my Sports Card Live family. Joe, Jeremy, you guys need to come to Strongsville next year. It's like, I'm not letting you guys give me excuses, okay? You guys are 100% coming next year. All right.
All right,
Joe?
buddy. You're coming to the National, David, yes?
Yes, I'm coming to the National.
Okay. Good.
Joe, are you coming to the National?
That's the plan. A ticket has been purchased.
Is this an announcement? Did I not know?
I don't think anyone publicly did know. But a couple weeks ago, I went ahead. You know, people were talking about gasoline prices, and I said, okay, well, I better do it sooner than later. So I got the only direct flights from San Jose to whatever the name of that airport is up there.
Chicago O'Hare. If you don't know what that one is, you would have no idea where we are now, because none of us know where the hell we are at this card show. I'll tell you that. That's at least in Chicago. We're in Independence, Ohio, wherever that is.
Well, it's a great where you are right now is a great area for the hobby. Hey, listen, Ohio's got 3 big cities, lots of professional sports teams, lots of collectors, lots of legendary card shops. It truly is a bit of a hobby hotspot if you think about it. But
and apparently it's where there's moonshine in the parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? It went up 3 notches in my book.
Exactly. All right, David, get some sleep, buddy. Thank you for coming on from the hotel. Thank you for all the cameos, arranging those. That was great. Joe?
I just wanted to say I loved the DiMaggio. I think that's that Ghost DiMaggio. I think that's a slick and kind of a one of one. So congratulations on that as well. That's super, super cool, and super cool to have that experience with the book writer at your side, like kind of your guide, almost your guide. It's like Virgil in the underworld for Dante.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, amazing benefit being able to have him there to ask all the questions you might have had about such a rare card. So, all right, David, safe travels.
Bye, everybody. Now have time for the smart part of the show. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right, buddy. All right. So, okay, Joe. Well, here we go. We're now in the final hour. We are going to bring on both okay, guys, here you come, Mr. Joshua Adams and Mr. Chris Hoge McGill. Welcome, guys. How are you both? Let's start with you, Josh. How are you, buddy?
Hi. That's a very fancy painting you have there, Christopher. I'm good. I'm not drinking moonshine in a parking lot in Ohio. Good, but
But you're good. Yeah.
Good.
Well,
yeah.
No, nor am I. Nor is Joe. Chris, and how are you doing, buddy? Don't tell him he's on mute. Don't tell him he's on mute.
Oh, now you can hear me. I actually got a good zinger in when Josh was talking too, and you missed that too.
Oh, darn.
I do have a bottle of moonshine here with me. And I'm doing great, Jeremy. I'm in Arizona hanging out with Josh and Christina. Everybody's away from home except for the hosts. And that was a great energy from Strongsville or Independence or whatever it's called now, from Leighton, from David, from the crew. Love seeing all those guys. Greg, Tony, that Petty. It was great to see Mookie Chilson as well. He's got a great YouTube channel too. So awesome energy, guys.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a treat to get everyone on there from David's room, who's there, where I know I would like to be, and I'm sure we'd all like to be there. So Chris, listen, I was watching Instagram this past week, and I was pleasantly surprised to see a picture of you on a panel at the Tops conference alongside Chris Carlin, who's the I believe he's like director of customer service or something like that at PSA. He's a good buddy of mine. He used to be with Upper Deck for many, many years. Al Terwell from Waxstat, a great guy in the hobby who known for many years from many of the industry events. And then the fourth was maybe the least known person of all, but someone by the name of Gary V, who was also on the panel with you. So I just wanted to ask, and you know, first of all, hope you had a great time. I don't know what was said on that panel, what the discussion was, but are you able to give us a bit of a summary, if you will, about what you guys talked about, and did you enjoy it? Tell us anything about the conference that you're willing and able to share. Let's start with the panel.
Sure. Well, there was a fifth member who was moderating, which is Brennan Woods of Tops, who I got to meet for the first time. Really, really cool, smart guy too. One of the things that blew me away, honestly, from the Tops conference was all the presentations were very polished. Like, I guess I shouldn't be surprised by that, but I was so impressed by how organized and thoughtful and well done the presentations were, whether it was product teams or other branches of Fanatics discussing things. I was really impressed. Public speaking is difficult, and those people did a really nice job at it. And our panel, it was just kind of your normal stuff, man. What's the state of the market? Some questions for Chris about PSA. Some questions for Al, sort of about how he feels about the market for wax, and just stuff like that. So it was fun. It wasn't a groundbreaking panel by any means, but quite an honor to share a stage with those guys.
Yeah, and what about Gary V? I mean, he's obviously a big personality in not just the sports card hobby, which I think is maybe not his main interest. He's into the fictional character side of things. He's got his own brand, of course, with V Friends. But what did he bring to the panel?
Well, I'm probably the worst person who was in that room to ask, because most of the time I was on stage just thinking about what I was going to say. So I don't really remember a ton of what anybody else said. I can tell you this. Gary has a great stage presence, and just sharing a stage with him makes everybody else on stage more comfortable to talk. He did make a few points that are coming to mind here as I think about it for a second. One of the points he made was that there's a strong market right now, but there will be a winter coming, and that was the analogy that he used. It was winter, and after he said it, I said I like that. I think it's good because winter sort of implies a seasonality. So winter doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't a spring and a summer after. It just means while we're in spring and summer now, remember that there will be a winter coming too. And I thought he made a nice point on that. I thought he raised some concerns about the ethos and culture of gambling that has taken a more prominent role. That's the word that he used. And I think he just kind of wanted to turn the temperature down on that, on that sort of mentality. And I don't know, I thought those were two pretty good remarks that he made, sort of offering a balanced opinion on things. And then sort of like I kind of wanted to moderate things as well, and just sort of talk about how, like on Card Ladder's industry tab, the month of March, for those who have looked, logged over 600 million in sales for that month. That's the biggest month by a mile that we've seen. And last year, 6 months ago even, we were seeing these $400 million months, and those were the highest months we'd ever seen. And I'm concerned about the sustainability of that. And then once it becomes unsustainable, if it takes a step back, then do we lose momentum? Do people start filing out? Are there fire sales left and right? So these are some of the points and concerns that were raised.
Yeah, I appreciate the summary. Now I want to talk about the industry tab, the $600 million number, for a moment, because Card Ladder does a great job of aggregating sales from several platforms. I think you have 17 or 18. When you go to the main page of Card Ladder, one of the first things you see are all of the platforms that feed into Card Ladder. But that $600 million, Chris, my question, and I don't know that anyone has the answer, but if you have a guesstimate, or if anyone has thought about it, is what is the multiple on that number that truly reflects the size of the transactional volume monetarily of our hobby? Because you're only looking at, the big one being eBay, you've got Heritage, you've got Fanatics, among a whole bunch more. But what it doesn't include are deals going on at local card shops, at card shows, on social media, on the live selling platforms, private deals. And then if you could also layer on the money spent at wholesale from Topps, Upper Deck, Panini, Leaf on their cards at wholesale from distributors or from them directly. That's another. What about the direct-to-consumer cards being sold by Upper Deck and Topps as well? Topps Now, Upper Deck Game Dated Moments, all these cards, those numbers are not included in the industry numbers on Card Ladder. So that $600 million is a piece of the overall market, but it is far from the whole market, because even look at what's going on in Strongsville this weekend. There will be millions of dollars transacting there. So your 600 million, add another, I don't know, 20 at Strongsville, what is going on? All the LCSs that sell on their own websites. It doesn't include card shows, LCSs, and never mind the volume happening on Whatnot, Fanatics Live, eBay Live, three of the three big live selling platforms. So my question to you, Chris, have you thought about this before? Have you ever tried to come up with a multiplier to your industry number to try to gauge the overall size of the true sports card industry? And before I stop, we've heard estimates in the past coming out of, I don't know who comes up with these, saying that the sports card memorabilia industry will be a $30 billion business by 2030. Like, we might be there already, like, I don't know, but if we did 600 million on only 18 platforms in March, that 600 million is is it really 2 billion? Like, what is that number truly? So all that, I've laid all that out just for discussion purposes. Chris, where did your mind go?
Yeah, man, it's a giant number. And I don't know if there's a super rigorous way to get at it. So, and it's not my job to try and figure out that full number, but it is fun to spitball about it. And I think if you look at our 600 million number, that's mostly singles sold on the secondary market. And there is some sealed wax that factors into that number, but not much. And then you think about just the, you mentioned the live selling platforms. I mean, how much money is spent on breaking every month? I mean, I'm sure that's at least 9 figures by itself. So, just put together the secondary market for singles online only and the online breaking only, and I think you're well into $1 billion a month just there. Then you factor in LCS in-store purchases of both singles and wax. You factor in whatever they happen to sell online. You factor in peer-to-peer transactions that are happening amongst collectors on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on the socials. You factor in, all the volume that happens at card shows. I mean, I don't know what the size of the volume is at card shows on a monthly basis, but I bet it's a lot. So I don't know. Yeah, I think we're well over $1 billion easily.
And then we're just talking about like the primary product, but you've also got the money spent on supplies, on grading. I mean, if PSA is doing 1.2 million or was it 1.215 million cards a month,
right?
I mean, I can't do the math that quickly, but 1.2 million times, I don't know what's the average cost to grade, $30 or something like that. Like, there's another $40 million right there just on grading. That's not even on cards, just on the grading, but that does help increase the value of many of the cards that are slabbed. And then we've got as an industry, we're spending money on travel and Ubers and all these things to go to card shows. I mean, that's different, but you got the supplies, the grading, the cards. 600 million is not it's a great number. It's a great indicator. And the nice thing about the Card Ladder industry number is that it's somewhat consistent. It's relatable, it's comparable, it's trendable. You can use it to spot trends and to have discussions. And maybe someone out there wants to put in the rigorous effort to come up with what is a multiple or a range of, maybe it's like, I don't know, 1.5 to 5.5 times the Card Ladder number is the best indication we have of what the overall market is. Like, I came up with a very large spread there, 1.5 to 5.5. I could be way off. It could be, 5 to 20. I don't know, but it's interesting to think about when you think about it that way. So, all right, Josh, any thoughts from you on any of this? What What's new with you, buddy? What's going on over at the world of Midwest Vintage Cards?
I'm just watching an auction and I'm getting hammered, so I'm trying to keep up with the 15-minute rule. But all this new stuff sounds very cool. I'm trying to be more a citizen of the hobby, so it's very interesting to hear about all this stuff.
For sure. Well, Jim Scholl here says that it's a big ecosystem. Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. Rock Latex says, plus the money spent on books like Pops and Comps. Yeah, we're moving into 10-figure territory.
What's the book market cap? Yeah.
Moonshine also adds up, says Chris C. Yep. Well, here's a question from Chris C for you, Chris Hoge. He says, do you feel the hobby will ever start appreciating some great players who weren't flashy? I picked up a great 98 Tim Duncan Prodigy die cut refractor for just $40. It's a good question about these players who are underloved relative to their relative to the players who surround them on the all-time greatest list. And Tim Duncan's a great example. Many put him in the top 10 all time, top 11 or 12 almost for sure. But players around him, like the Steph Currys and the Kobe Bryants, get a lot more hobby love. And Chris, before you answer or respond to Chris C, I want to let you guys know that at the Edmonton Expo last weekend, I had a lot of non-hockey with me. I had 5 showcases filled with basketball, football, mostly basketball and football, and it was only goats. I only had cards of these were my friends' cards. They were only goats. By far, I had Jordans, I had Kobe's, I had Brady's. By far, the number one player and LeBron's, the number one player people want to buy is Kobe Bryant. Far more than LeBron and even far more than Michael Jordan, which surprised me. So back to Chris C's question about, when will the hobby ever start appreciating some players who weren't flashy like a Tim Duncan? Also interested in your thoughts on this Kobe observation that I had.
Oh, well, the Kobe thing, I see it too. I think Kobe is maybe the most collected player right now.
I think so.
I don't know.
So.
There might not even be any question. So that I've noticed that too. I see Kobe stuff everywhere, shared proudly and loudly. Now, in terms of Chris C's question about Duncan or just in general players who weren't flashy, I would just reverse engineer that question. I would say, Chris, what led you to pick up that card and what led you to collect that player? And is that applicable? Is that scalable? Is it possible that there could be many other collectors who would adopt that mindset and do the same thing you just did? And then I would even reverse engineer it a step further and say, what led you to observe that? What were the content inputs or the thoughts that came across your brain that made you feel compelled to pick up a Tim Duncan card that, maybe were you listening to a podcast and Tim Duncan came up and that sort of made you want to go look at some of his cards? Or were you looking at a different player who was in that set and you said, I wonder who else is on this checklist? And then you stumbled into the checklist and you went and said, oh, Tim Duncan is in here. I think he's one of the great players. So I would step outside of my hobby purview, and I would try to analyze it objectively and say, is this scalable? Is this transferable? Or is it something that is really only of interest to me? And that, however you answer that question, theoretically should be the answer to the original question too.
And I'd recently bought a Tim Duncan card myself. I just brought up my picture of it here. I bought it at the local show about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Cheap, but it's a nice Upper Deck Ultimate Collection game used patch of Tim Duncan, numbered out of 100. I might have shown it on the show a week or two ago, and it was cheap. It was, I don't remember, $60 maybe. I forget what I paid exactly. Canadian, never mind. So more like, 40 or 50 US, but like, it's almost like, as collectors, do we want a guy like that to get more love when he's one guy you can get cheap? Isn't that a treat? Like, isn't that kind of nice, But as a purchaser of cards who might be trying to buy something that has upside in the future, now that you bought it, you might, hope that your cards, because some people do want their cards to go up in value, believe it or not. And so if you are, then that's maybe there's opportunity. And when opportunity presents itself, things can often change.
So Jeremy, what was your thought process? Literally, like if you could try and reconstruct it real time, like you saw the card, you said, this is Tim Duncan, he's a great player. This price makes sense. I love this set. Was it things like that?
Yes, it was exactly that. And it was the value, because just like Chris C, I think to myself, Tim Duncan, again, commonly considered as a top 12 player of all time in the NBA's history. That's huge. He's got how many? 5 championships, five rings. I'm not sure his MVP count, Chris. I'm sure you know that. Like
5,
you know,
5 total MVPs.
5 total MVPs.
Three finals MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs.
And is it 5 chips, as we call them?
And 5 chips.
And 5 chips. I mean, that's incredible for any player. So, and again, I see this sitting in my local card show, sitting on a vendor who I've been dealing with for decades now, sitting out there, literally with a price tag of like, I don't know, 80 Canadian dollars, and I get it for whatever, 60 or 70 bucks. I'm like, I would feel like I was doing something wrong if I left that card there, because number one, I think it's my only Duncan card. I love game use patches from the early 2000s. I'm on a kick right now, guys. I got a handful coming to me, being delivered to me at the Toronto Expo at the end of this month, I should say. And I can't wait to get those in hand. I love game use patch cards. Picked up a Barry Sanders today on eBay. I put up a funny story post because I made a mistake. I hit accept instead of counter offer and bought the card for more than I wanted to. I paid for it, but I didn't mean to hit accept offer. I meant to hit counter offer, but I tapped accept by mistake, and it was too late. Like they're like, that's it. You got to pay for it. So I did. But anyway, I just love cards like this. And again, it's just good. I thought it was a good deal, and I get Tim Duncan into my collection. So that's kind of why. Yeah. I mean, it's as simple as that. Get a player. Get a card of a top 12 guy, game use patch card.
So look, we've got 2 people in proximity here who both came across a very cool Tim Duncan card and picked it up. And I bet Chris C's reasoning was probably pretty similar. So yeah, is it scalable? I'll leave that for each individual person to decide.
You know what? As long as everybody wants Kobe, I don't know. Like Kobe is, I think, kind of the boss of the hobby right now. He is the hobby boss as far as, and I thought Jordan was. And maybe I thought even Brady was, but even up here in Canada, where I was at this show, and this is a good show, this is a big show, it was Kobe by a mile, just like my experience at crypto.com at the Lakers game I went to in February with all the statues there of Magic and Shaq and Kareem and Kobe and Gretzky and all these guys. The only statue with a lineup for people to take pictures was Kobe. Only statue, not Magic, not Kareem, not Gretzky. It was Kobe Bryant. I think he is the most beloved athlete in the hobby right now. And Chris, I mean, I kind of was surprised. Josh, what do you think of that? Joe, what do you think of that? Like, does it surprise you that Kobe's the hobby darling, not Michael Jordan? I thought it was Jordan. Josh, what do you think?
I mean, I think Jordan's always the hobby darling, but I mean, I think circumstance of Kobe's death probably elevates his either collectability or legend status. So I think that it's understandable.
Well, he's also cheaper than Jordan, so that opens it up to a larger demographic, if you will. Joe, are you surprised?
No. I mean, I've observed it as well. I mean, the thing going back to the Duncan and then leading into the Kobe is I look also at things in terms of fan base. San Antonio, I've never actually been there, but I hear the Riverwalk is quite lovely. But I have been to LA, and a lot has happened in LA through the years. It's sort of an epicenter of culture. There's a lot more people there. There's an Asian fascination with elements of Los Angeles, and so I kind of and a massive collecting base of Kobe collectors in the the Asian Pacific Rim countries. So I guess that's a little bit of where my brain goes. You also have the flash factor, the sizzle factor, and I'm stating the obvious, but Duncan is a little vanilla in terms of his style of play. Big fundamental, that's a compliment. I think Shaq had that name for Tim Duncan, but I'm as a former basketball coach, fundamentals are incredibly important. But when you get into the sort of entertainment realms of basketball, Kobe was also incredibly fundamentally strong. He grew up playing in Italy and learned and attributed a great deal of his success to learning kind of in the European system with his dad playing professionally overseas. So I'd say, but he also just had that element to him. He had the athleticism and the leaping and the creativity that just didn't come across as much with Duncan. So I kind of look at those as ingredients to collector sensibilities. But I want to throw one other name into the mix here that we haven't heard, and that would be Stephen Curry coming around the back, and maybe as we come down the home stretch here. I mean, there's been a lot of talk just recently about, is it Curry's era or is it LeBron's era? And I think we're hearing more and more that people are at least acknowledging that that's a reasonable conversation, whereas previously everyone was giving the mantle to LeBron. So keep your eyes on Curry in this conversation of who's most collected.
Well, I think those are good points. And I can tell you that at my booth amongst, and the show I was at, there wasn't a lot of non-hockey. This is a hockey dominant show, but there are a lot of collectors who collect other things. And I had Curry at my booth as well. And I don't think I sold a single Curry card. I sold Jordans. I sold Kobe's, and Brady's, Griffey's, had a bunch of Griffey's as well. But it seems to me like Kobe is far and away leading the hobby right now. But I like your sort of topic about Kobe, Steph versus LeBron, and I think it's sort of similar to the Duncan situation, where Duncan's hobby flaw is that he's just not a very exciting person or player, and I think that LeBron's hobby flaw is a lot of people find him unlikable. So people default, I think, to Steph, and Steph has had a huge impact on the game. The other difference between those two is that there is a 6-year gap in them coming into the league. So LeBron does appeal maybe more to people, that there's that 6-year gap. It's not a 1 or 2 year gap. It is 6 years. It's not 10 or 15 or 20 years, but there is a bit of a gap there. And I'll tell you, like, if I would rather buy Steph cards than LeBron cards. I don't own any real Steph cards. I have a couple LeBrons I love them. They're great cards, but I kind of missed the boat on Steph cards myself. I want to just do a couple comments here that came up. Chris C here says there's room for both Kobe and Jordan, and yes, price dictates. Absolutely. I think there's the Rock Latex says Kobe is Gen Y's guy and MJ is Gen X guy. And that, I think, is a potential explanation for the situation. And then someone else said, I don't know, I lost the comment, but oh no, it's right here. Let's Go Jordan says the Kobe kids are finally getting money to buy his cards. That's all. He's saying that's all there is to it. And I don't know that we can definitively say that that's all there is to it, but definitely something that does likely contribute to it in any event. So any other thoughts on this, guys, or let's change up the topic. Anything else? We got some. I see Chris is sort of in deep contemplation over there. Josh is staring at through his camera, and Joe's chilling on the beach. So, all right, we'll move on from that, guys. Chris, I'm going to put it to you. Do you have a topic that you wanted to bring to the table tonight?
I do, but let me ask Josh if he has one first. If not, then I do.
I do not.
Okay. Maybe I should ask Joe too.
Good. I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Very, very kind of you, Chris.
No problem. All right, let's do this then. Let's just get into this. But I'm going to phrase this. Ignore what I've been up to on social media over the last week, if you know, and just take the question on his face for what it is. This is the question I asked all of us, and then maybe we can create a list and we can start a discussion. The question is, what is the most iconic property that a card can possess? That's the question. What is the most, and let me give some examples of properties that might be iconic. The rookie card badge. That might be iconic. A first set. 1952 Topps baseball. That might be iconic. 1986 Fleer basketball. That set having the firsts of many important rookies. a first. So being a first could be an iconic property.
Like the first jersey card or the first autograph card or that kind of thing as well.
Absolutely right. Some other examples, maybe the highest grade. Maybe some people consider that iconic. Is having a card in a PSA 10 iconic, or the card having a historic pose. Speaking of Curry, if the card has the night pose, is that an iconic property? Or one that's near and dear to my heart is the 1-of-1 stamp. Is that an iconic property that a card can have? So this is the discussion. I want to open this discussion. I've often sort of shied away from talking about iconic because I was sort of in this paradigm where it was like, since I'm somebody who's really collecting rarity right now, that I shouldn't be opining on iconic because rarity and iconic are sort of these two opposite things. And then I heard a great episode from Greg, and then I heard another great episode from Greg and Junkwax Mike. And they were sort of having the discussion on the Clubhouse channel, and Greg was discussing on his channel sort of, what does it mean to be iconic? Well, iconic, is demand side. That's one way to think about what iconic means, is that iconic is something that's heavily in demand. And something that's rare could be heavily in demand. It could actually be both. It could be rare and iconic at the same time. That was sort of a conclusion I was sort of drawing as I was listening to them. Because Mike had this comment that was like, rare to him sort of meant an obscure player. Like some of those great players that Dan collects, vintage Dan. And like he has these great breakdowns on his channel about stuff like that. And so Mike was sort of like leaning in that direction for what rare means. And then Greg was sort of like, but there's also like rare cards that can have a high level of demand too. So anyway, not to get too sidetracked there, but basically to get back to the original question, what is the most iconic property a card can possess, or a list of iconic things that a card can possess? Okay.
It's a great topic. I saw your post on Twitter, I think on Instagram as well. And I certainly have thoughts on it. And I think it's important for the listeners and viewers right now to understand that that Chris's question is not what's the most iconic card or who's the most iconic player or what's the most iconic set. When he's very clear when he says what's the most iconic property a card can have. So what is more iconic? Being a rookie card, being a first of a type of card, being the highest grade of a card, having a historic pose, or having the 1-of-1 stamp. What is the most iconic property that a card can have? Not what is the most iconic card or set. Because Chris, he mentioned 52 tops, 86 fleer. The question is that the most iconic set? Those represent being the first top set, the first fleer set. What is most iconic? So I thought about this, Chris, as I was reading your post on Twitter and some of the comments that were left on it. And one of the things that came to mind for me was that things like highest grade and the 1-of-1 stamp have only existed for a relatively short period of time in the hobby. They are new. They are both new from the 90s. They didn't exist before the 90s, either of them, grading or the 1-of-1 stamp, which means that if either of those properties win, then cards that came out before them had no chance to win the poll, if you will. Which doesn't mean that I'm not saying that they're ineligible. They might listen. We are no longer in the 1900s we are now in 2020. I have to remember what century we're in. We are a quarter of the way through the 21st century. And if you because when I said that those cards from earlier decades, even last century, wouldn't count, it's interesting to note that like 75% of all graded cards have been graded in the last 5 years, or so, that stat. It's in Pops and Comps. I forget the exact stat there, but most of the hobby has happened in the last 15, 20 years. Most of the cards produced have happened in the last 15 or 20 years. You might want to fact check me on that, but I think you know what I'm getting at. So for that reason, I'm going to go through them. I'm going to give you my thoughts, okay? The rookie card badge, easily in the running as the most iconic property. First set, I think it's in the running, but I don't know that it's going to beat rookie card badge to me. So I'm still at rookie card. Highest grade, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Historic pose, nope. I don't see that being the winner. And 1 of 1 stamp, no, I don't see that being the most iconic. So my vote, rookie card badge. To me, that is the most iconic property that a card can have. And if you think about it, the rookie card designation really only became a thing in the 70s. So anything before then also.
What about the first set of it all, Jeremy? The first card.
I love firsts. I do. But I think about the 52 top set. Yeah, it's an iconic set, but there's only like 3 cards I'd want to own from it. For me, maybe 5. I could throw in the Yogi Berra and the Spawn. I have the Spawn, maybe even so maybe there's 10 cards I'd personally want to own from there. I for a long time wanted to own the complete set of the first set of hockey cards, the 1910 C56s, and I did. I owned that whole set for 20 years until recently when I broke it up and kept, what I thought were the best 6 cards and sold the other 30. So I'm all about firsts, Chris. I love firsts, but this isn't about what I love. It's answering your question as unbiased as I can, and I'm not flawless at that for sure. So for me, I still land at the rookie card badge. I think that is the most, even though I'm not a big rookie card guy anymore, right? Like I'm very vocal about I just don't really care about collecting rookie cards anymore. So yeah, I think I'm the rookie card is my vote. I think that's where I land. But I do love like right behind me, this showcase here. That's the first complete set of Upper Deck game jersey cards in hockey. And right, the 2 rows beneath it is the second year. I'm all about firsts. I love the first jambalayas in hockey. I want them. I don't really, so I love first, but it might be my vote for number 2. Highest grade doesn't even come into play for me. The fact that a PSA 10 can be iconic to me is I almost take that as an insult on behalf of the hobby that we're going to give a non-card manufacturer the award for most but let's face it, a lot of people in the hobby do operate as if that is the most iconic thing in the hobby. So I might be in the minority there. Historic pose, it's just, even the 52 tops mantle is a historic. A lot of cards become historic. A lot of poses on cards become iconic because of the card, the mantle, the Gretzky, the Jordan, the Griffey. Those are iconic cards. But I think you're talking about like the Nighty Night pose or, several others. Even the Mariano Rivera rookie might be an iconic pose. I don't know, where he's in those fluorescent pants. And then the 1 of 1 stamp. The 1 of 1 stamp is wonderful, but I don't think it's the most iconic. It might lead to the most value, but I don't think it's the most iconic property. So I'm done. You can kind of respond to my thoughts, Chris, and we'll go to the other fellas.
Great thoughts. I just want to let those thoughts marinate and let them see what Joe thinks about all this.
Let's go to Joe.
All right. Well, can I introduce another category that maybe was referenced and I didn't hear it, but it kind of is maybe adjacent to player pose. For me, one thing that really emerges when I think about iconic cards is the card design. The EX cards, credentials, futures, and now has been in the news a little bit recently with Teapot's video, and that's clearly all the 90s. You mentioned jambalaya, Jay Lee, but when you think about like the Griffey, I actually sold my '89 Upper Deck Griffey at the West Coast Card Show, but I think many of us would agree that that's an iconic card, and one of the reasons it's an iconic card is because I believe the '89 Upper Deck design captured people's imaginations in ways that hitherto had not gone to that level. So I think for me it's going to depend on a number of other things too, the context, the cultural context of the moment. But another key ingredient is going to be player, right? The player and the set design. And then from there, these other things, like I'm not like rookie card badge. It's like, okay, there's no rookie card badge for a 54 tops Aaron or a 52 tops Mantle. Not that I've overlooked.
Let me just jump in. I don't think it's the badge. I think it's a designation. It's just
a designation,
a rookie card itself.
Gotcha. Thank you. No, that's helpful. So yeah, clearly people who are interested, I mean, myself included, there's some that I'm more gravitated towards as rookie cards. But yeah, I guess, to me, it really would depend on the player, the era. Everything's going to change when you get back into vintage world. The set design, I mean, I don't know, the Babe Ruth rookie card. I'd rather have a Gaudy. I'd rather have a nice, spanking red Gaudy Ruth, or the full pose that you have, Jay Lee, the infamous PSA 1. But so I guess context, player, set design, and there's going to be a sliding scale within that that may lean me in towards, a Curry 1 of 1 could be awesome if one happened to exist. The superfractor, where might it be? God knows. But go ahead, Jaylee.
Well, I don't think, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you are answering the question specifically, because you're talking about specific cards. So I just want to make sure that we're on the same, that I understand the question, because if I got it wrong,
well, let me answer the question. It depends.
But okay, but it shouldn't depend. You should be able. I don't think it should depend, because what is? Let me.
Well, there's too much.
It can depend by player, but the question is, what is the most iconic property a card can have? And that's where you got to take the depends out, because you got to not be biased to what you would prefer. Is it a Curry card or a Credentials? So I don't know that it does depend. Maybe it does. So push back. But what's more iconic, or what's more important? Being a rookie card, being a first card from a certain insert set or brand, being the highest grade, having a historic pose, or having a 1-of-1 stamp. So take Curry and make it your favorite Curry card ever. What would be more important for you, for your favorite Curry card to possess? So pick your favorite one, and then strip away what it really is, and say, would I rather this be a rookie card, a first, highest grade, historic pose, or 1-of-1? What would you feel of those things is the most iconic in the hobby? Versus, like, Chris, I don't know. I can see where Joe's coming. It's hard to get your head around this one, and it's hard to strip out what you're even asking here. And I think that probably led to some responses in your poll that were probably not as not answering the question you were asking, because it's a deep question, and Joe's capable of the deepest of conversation. But I just want to make sure that either I'm misunderstanding or he's.
No, let me bring this together. I think you both are right. I think it is a weird question. I think the question I'll probably find better ways to ask it as time goes on. But Joe was moving from the general to the particular. So Joe did give the general. Joe said he thinks a beautiful design is iconic, and he thinks having a cultural phenom of a player is iconic. So those are two categories. And then he gave examples. He said examples of beautiful design would be the 89 Upper Deck or the X Credentials. And then he said examples. He didn't give any examples, but he said that a cultural phenom, an era phenom of a very well-known player, the player themselves can be an icon. They can be iconic too. So I think we're all together on this.
Right. Well, a player can be iconic, but we're not talking about iconic players. We're talking about card properties.
But so the question is the player a property of the card?
Well, it is, but that wasn't in your poll. But yes.
No, it wasn't. Exactly. It wasn't.
And Joe also brought up overall design, which also wasn't, but that
correct.
But is that as iconic? Like, I don't think so, because rookie card, there are a lot of ugly rookie cards that people just want because they're rookie cards. So set design, I don't think is the most iconic property a card can have. Set design is almost irrelevant in many cases when it comes to what is iconic, but that said, maybe not, because the 52 Topps is more iconic than the 50 Mantle, than the 51 Bowman, because it's a more beautiful card in many people's opinion. So, but is that set design or is that pose, right? Because it's because of that majestic image of him. with the bat over the shoulder, taking up the whole screen. Like that is iconic, but it's not even a rookie card, but people mistake it for one. Yet it's, among the most iconic, it's a top 3 iconic card, maybe number 1, in which case maybe it's a first. It's a first. It's kind of a rookie card because people don't know the difference in many cases. It's a historic pose with a great design for Joe's new addition to the poll. So, but with all of that said, the question, I would like to hear Joe's simple answer to the poll as it was stated. What is the most iconic property a card can possess? Rookie card being a first, highest grade historic pose, or having a 1-of-1 stamp on it.
I'm going to resisting
Please.
the answer that it's too nuanced. I'm going to go with pose.
And by pose, do you also mean like design? Because I think Chris, to you're the poll author. Can we not lump those together in a way? Like in your mind, can they be lumped together?
I think that pose is an element of the design, but the design can certainly be much more than just the pose.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
And I didn't see the original pose, so I'm coming to all of this sort of fresh. I need to follow your social media stuff more closely, Hoj. But I'd probably stick with design / player. But if going into the categories that were apparently in the poll itself, I'd probably go pose. And a card that I'm thinking of, I believe it's is it the 2007 or 2008 Kobe LeBron Topps card. Like, to me, that's a card that has become iconic because of the image, the photograph, the pose, if you will. And I think that's a strong case study for a card that's, certainly condition scarcity starts to get into play when you get into the golds, into the X fractors and this, that, and the other. But in and of itself, I would love a paper copy of that card in any condition because of the pose. So,
yeah. A lot of people called out the 53 Bowman colored Pee Wee Reese in the chat as being an iconic pose, and just the design. To me, they are, for the purpose of this poll, can be looked at together or separate, but either way. And I think, listen, I still vote for rookie card. I think, hands down, I think it's the number 1 most iconic property a sports card can have. It drives the hobby. It drives Victor's channel, right? And among other things. This is coming from somebody, again, who much prefers design, pose to that. But again, I'm putting what I see ahead of my own personal approach when I think about it. Sorry, Joe, you wanted to jump in.
No, it's bringing to mind the ways that we might break down the conversation of the Star 101 Jordan and then the 86-87 Jordan in relation to what you're saying, the rookie card. And you may understand both of them as rookie cards. I'm not sure what your latest take is on that, but clearly, at least
my latest take, but fair.
Well, mine has changed from moment to moment, but the 86-87 is clearly an image. I believe we would all agree that that's a more stunning image, and I think it could be the argument why we've had a hard time letting go of the 86-87 not being the rookie card, regardless of the year it was printed and, licensed this, pack pulled that. But the image itself, people gravitate towards that image, even though there's a ton more of them out there.
I think, Joe, I think that image, design, pose, I think they're underrated. I think they are an underrated sort of quality of a card or property of a card, even though a lot of people collect like cards that they like the looks of. I still think that despite that, people look to things like PSA 10, rookie card designation, more so.
So are we asking this question from the framework of ourselves, subjectively, our personal opinion? Or are we asking what the hobby sort of deems iconic?
Well, yeah, good question. And I answered the poll from the perspective of what the hobby deemed, just like iconic cards. You can ask me what my most iconic cards are. It's gonna be the Gretzky rookie followed by something else. It's not gonna be the Honus Wagner, the 52 Topps Mantle, or the 86 Fleer Jordan. It's gonna be the Wayne Gretzky rookie will be my most iconic card, how I grew up. But I'm gonna take myself out of it, and I'm gonna answer what do I deem to be the hobby's most iconic card or cards. And that's how I answered the question, was not what is most important to me, what I believe to be the most, because iconic, if you look up the definition of iconic, and I don't have it in front of me, but I think the core of the definition is something that represents other things. It represents the greater ecosystem, or the greater, it's like Michael Jordan's 86 Fleer rookie card represents all of his cards, and that is the most iconic card. Or the 50 Topps Mantle card represents all vintage baseball cards. It can represent them all, and it's the most iconic. Or the Honus Wagner sort of thing, something like that. Chris, do you want to just jump in on that meaning a bit?
I think these are all terrific points. I think both questions matter a lot. And will produce possibly different results, and the difference between those results could be quite illuminating itself. And by both questions, I mean the questions that you pointed out, Jeremy, which is question 1, what do you think the hobby thinks is the most iconic property a card can have? And question 2, what in your mind is the most iconic property a card can have? And I would really like to know the answer to both, because we might think that other people think certain things are iconic, and then when we actually ask and take the average of what each person specifically thinks is iconic, we might be wrong about what we think other people think is iconic. I think that very well could happen.
Very fair. Very fair. Let's go to Josh now and get his thoughts on all this. I know they're creeping up in his head.
All right. So it's important to define words, because I think you have to go to a definition before you can answer a question, like kind of look at a statute before you can answer the question. And definition of iconic is something that's widely recognized, admired, and considered a quintessential symbol of a particular era, idea, era, or style. And it signifies, I'm reading this off, something famous, influential, and often a cultural or historic or artistic landmark. So if you use those qualities, the only answer is first. So it's got to be first.
It's first for you.
It's got if you use an objective definition of the word, the only answer is first, because everything else is just stylistic and subjective. Objectively, if you apply the definition to the question, the only answer is first.
The interesting thing there is that a rookie card kind of is a subset of the first. You could now, for Chris's poll, he has separated them out,
right?
But they overlap. Like the Griffey Upper Deck is his rookie card. It's also the first card it's the very first Upper Deck card ever made, outside of the promos. It's the very first pack pulled card ever made by Upper Deck, #1 in its inaugural set. Mm-hmm. So firsts can overlap, or rookie is a type of a first. So I ask you now, Josh, let's just go deeper. What is there a way to kind of separate the two for you? Is the rookie card driving your answer, or is the first driving the answer? Like which one sits above the other? First
is driving the answer for me. First, because I'm using the definition of the word, it's got to be first. So to me, an iconic set is 58 tops. It's the first photograph set, so that's iconic. 52 tops is iconic because it's the first top set. Yeah. And the only card really worth having in that set is the Mini Minoso, but that's a whole other conversation. I think first is driving the answer for me.
I love it. Yeah. Joe, any more comments before we get Chris's thoughts on Josh's?
No, I mean, I'm interested in that. I mean, I heard a bunch of other things in the definition, Josh. So like cultural relevance, and like getting back to even, the Jordan card, for instance, like at one point we thought the 86, 87 was the first. Well, now we think the 84 star is the first. So that there's some malleability, I think, to perception of what is first. So anyway, I'm not pushing back. I like your clarity, but I also am I'm always a little anxious around, let's, just nailing it right out of the gates. So I'd be curious what Chris has to say, and or obviously if you have a response to that.
I'm glad that the definition was brought in, but I also think that there is no the definition either. I think that ultimately the half of this exercise is figuring out what people think iconic means in the first place, and it might mean something a little bit different. Like I liked Greg's formulation, where he was sort of gesturing in the direction that iconic is really a proxy for demand. That if like a way to figure out what an iconic card is asking what card is most demanded, and so that's a different definition, right? Or maybe if we dug into it, we could find some overlap. But I don't know that any one definition needs to carry the day. Just like we were sort of getting into the 84 star and the 86 Fleer thing, like Joe, you were pointing out, well, the 84 star is now seen as first, but 86 Fleer is first. Well, first of what? If the category is what is the first card from major national distribution that was issued in a blind pack, then the 86 Fleer is still the first. But if your definition is what was the first NBA licensed card to feature Michael Jordan, then the 84 star is the first. So the first of what? First the what matters in when we ask what was first. And in the definition of iconic, it matters who is defining iconic, because a dictionary can define it, Josh can define it, Joe can define it, Jeremy can define it, I can define it. Just like word iconic, the word rookie card, we can define these things in our own subtle and nuanced ways. That's almost half the exercise, is just figuring out what do people think iconic means in the first place.
Yeah, that's where a lot of differences can come. Perimeter Collectible says, if you ask someone what the first ever baseball card set, many collectors couldn't answer that question. What was the first ever one? People can, is it the T206? No, it's like from the 1888, just slipping my mind. Josh, what are they called from 1888? Oh, come on. It's not the Goodwins.
You're muted. Yep.
Yeah, sorry, the N series. So it's like it's either a good one or there's a Muriad college series from 1909. Muriad, it's called. That was one of the first ones.
Yeah, but there's one with all the Cap Ansons back in the day. Anyway. I'm sure someone in the chat will let us know. Okay, David came back on because he's got an answer to the question too, and so let's get David's answer to the poll. What do you think, David, is the most iconic property a card can have?
I think that in general, it is the first card. I think that really is, in generalities, the most iconic card. The reason why it's hard for me to accept that as the answer is because if you take the most iconic cards and if you list them out on one of these books and you look at the top 100, I would say of the 7 most iconic cards, 5 of them are not first cards. So it's the exception, because that is crazy to think that way. But the Ruth Gowdys, the 52 Mantle, the Honus Wagner, right? Those are not first cards. But if you go a little bit farther down the list and you're thinking of what's the most iconic Clemente, it's the rookie card. What's the most iconic Aaron? The rookie card, right? And even maybe in modern, it can be a little different than that, which I completely understand. But I would say that at least at the vintage side, besides those top cards, I think it's the first.
I want to, okay, thank you. And now Chris C calls out Old Judge and Jacob Dahl, Allen and Ginter. Exactly what I was thinking about, guys. Thank you for reminding us of what those early sets were. And yeah, right there, those predate the T206s. And I would say that the T206s are among the most iconic sets that have ever existed, along with 52 Tops as well, and 86 Fleer and 61 Fleer basketball even are all iconic sets.
And 48 Leaf, sorry.
48 Leaf to David's delight. Absolutely. These are all iconic sets. And is that the first that is the first and only Leaf set from the 40s. It was a one-off thing. It's funny how a one-off set has become so iconic, 100 years, 80 years later.
It was made to sell gum. That's why you're getting a Joe DiMaggio without any black ink or registration, where the guy's hat's on his, top of the card.
Yeah,
but isn't all early sets to sell candy or gum or chocolate? Isn't it all like that?
I like that, but that's the only reason those cards came out. It's fantastic, that set. It's great.
And you know what? That's a great comment you make there, David, because all cards were really maybe not made to sell gum or other novelties, but included other novelties really until Upper Deck changed the game in 1989. That was the first time we saw cards, number one, not being wrapped in wax paper, coming out in foil on a premium stock with a hologram on the back and no gum. That was the end of the gum era. And earlier on in the show, Jim Sholey here said, Jeremy, where do you have vintage ending and modern starting? And this is something else that people just, don't really ever, well, there are groups that agree, but to me, people say 1980 or, 81 when Topps lost its monopoly, or 1970 when they got rid of the series. I've heard Dr. Beckett say that before. But to me, nothing changed fundamentally in the cards or the way they were distributed other than the timing in terms of the series aspect, as I wouldn't have really known about. That's before my collecting time. But to me, the fundamental change happens kind of in that middle of that junk wax era when gum is removed altogether, cards are no longer packaged in plastic, and the card stock is greatly improved almost across the board. So to the question from Jim Sholey here, to me, I mean, it's hard for me not to go with 1989 as the cutoff, even though I know that most people, and I just sort of succumb to it and say, fine, it's 1980. Like I can accept that. Like the 80s are their own transitional sort of era maybe. But I think, like we said, it's all about selling something else, whether it was tobacco or chocolate or ice cream or candy or bubble gum, which is really what led the way.
Or tobacco.
I said tobacco. Oh, yeah, the first. Yeah, that was the first one. It's okay. Yeah, so yeah, Chris, it was a great poll. What was the in your poll, Chris, what was the sort of winning answer?
All right, so you have to understand that I have a very unique audience, and it's going to be people who probably think like me, or at least to some extent. And you have to remember, too, that my poll, because of the way the polls are structured on social media, only permitted 4 options. Okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what my question was. I'm going to tell you exactly what my options were. And I specifically excluded things like rookie card from the poll because that would win in a landslide. Was my guess. I wanted to narrow in on iconic properties of a card that might be competitive with each other. So the ones that so here's what I said. I said, please vote. What is the most iconic property that a card can possess among these options? And I gave 4 options. 1 of 1 stamp, highest grade, first set, historic pose. And this is one of the most viewed stories I ever had on Instagram. It had several thousand views. Instagram no longer tells me how many people voted or which way they voted. It only gives me percentages, but I think it's a safe bet that at least several hundred people voted. 1 of 1 stamp won in a landslide with 59%. First set came in second with 27%. Historic pose came in third with 10%. And highest grade came in last with 4%. And then I ran the poll on Twitter, and I only got 16 votes on Twitter, but it was a very similar breakdown. 1 of 1 stamp got like 66% and it won. So 1 of 1 stamp won among those 4 options. 1 of 1 stamp won on both polls.
So 1 of 1 stamp came in first. Highest grade came in last. Sorry, what was 2 and 3?
2 and 3.
First or historic pose?
2 was first set. 3 was historic pose, and then 4 was the highest grade.
Yeah. Yep. See, you take rookie card badge out, but I think on this panel we've kind of landed on being the first set, the first of the insert, whatever it is. And to me, that would be the winner for me when you take rookie card out of it. Would not be the 1 of 1 stamp. I mean, just not enough people can own the 1 of 1 stamp for it to be really that, what I would consider to be that. Now, the same thing could be said for the Honus Wagner. Why is it one of the most iconic cards? There's only 75 of them known. So I run into a bit of a controversy there.
Yeah, no, Jeremy. Well, that's the thing, Jeremy, is like actually 1 of 1s have become pretty widespread. Like Laura has a comment from a few minutes ago. So which of the dozen 1 of 1s of Cooper Flag is iconic? And that's a funny comment. But the comment, as much as the comment is pointing out the hypocrisy or the false allure of a 1 of 1 signaling maximal rarity in an era where players have hundreds and hundreds of one-of-ones, and that's a valid criticism, and it points out sort of a conflict and inherent tension in the idea of what a one-of-one is today. It also makes the other point too, which is that because there are so many one-of-ones, suddenly the one-of-one actually kind of did become iconic, and nobody actually noticed it happening. I certainly didn't notice it happening until I ran this poll. And all of a sudden, my mind is scrambled.
Couldn't the opposite also be true, Chris? And I'm thinking about jersey cards. When they first came out, it was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And then memorabilia cards are iconic in and of themselves. Like one of the I wonder if you considered putting as an option, embedded memorabilia. Does that make is that
and autograph and
or autograph? Those are both properties, and they are both could potentially be considered to be iconic properties of a card. And to me, they're very David. To me, they're very, very important properties of a card. But when it comes to jersey cards, eventually, and even autographs, eventually, it's like they become worthless in a way and undesirable because they flood the market. Where jersey cards used to be, early on, they were hundreds of dollars. Now you find them in dollar bins. You can't even give some of them away. And then on that same sort of trajectory there, I think about the need for manufacturers to put hits into products. So they will put a hit in as an autograph or a jersey card, and that's considered a hit. Yet the buyer and the breakers will celebrate these. Oh my God, you just got a fourth line player's jersey card. Woohoo! Congratulations, whoever had that team. Yet nobody cares about them. So back to the one-on-one thing. I mean, to Laura's comment as well. And now you put a one-on-one on 4 different printing plates, and you put them on all sorts of different things. Is the one-of-one has the fact that it became such an elusive property? But then what the manufacturers always do is they just I don't know if they overdo it, but they maximize they exploit it. And then does it remain iconic, or does the iconicism diminish a little bit because there's so many of them, and there can only be one first of a card, and there can only be a few rookies of a card for 1 year. You can have one-of-ones every year. You can have 1,000 one-of-one LeBrons every single year. You can only have 25 LeBron rookies. Ponder that, Chris. David, you were going to jump in.
I was just going to ask, can a one-of-one be iconic if the hobby media does not pick up on that card? Because again, there's so many one-of-ones, but at the same time, like the Skeens is the one-of-one that I think of that is an iconic card. The media rode that card, right? So just being a one-of-one is not iconic.
No, not on every card, but either is being a rookie card iconic or being a first iconic across the board. So we have to think to Hoja's question is what is, among all that, what just like 52 Tops might be one of the most iconic sets, but not every card is like someone said it before. A set cannot in itself be iconic. Well, I somewhat disagree. I think a set can be iconic, but not every card matters. Josh, you want to jump in?
I love David Chase, but I'm going to push back on his previous statement. Just because the media finds a card to hype for a certain news cycle does not make it iconic. It makes it popular. But I think iconic, the average person's not going to know what that card is. We do because this is what we do. But iconic, everyone knows what the Honus Wagner card is because it's in the news all the time. And it's an iconic card, mostly because of the story behind it, I think. But the Skeens, and I want to hear what you're going to say. Tell me why I'm wrong. But the Skeens is popular because the news picked it up last year. David, tell me why I'm wrong.
But with that same point, then pretty much in your mind, no modern cards could be iconic.
Bingo.
Because in your mind, barely any of those outside of the hobby are going to know of those cards.
That's probably my bias coming through, but I think there could be some modern cards that are iconic. I think the Steph Curry rookie's iconic, I think.
Let me introduce a term here to help understand this, and that is temporary iconicism, like the Skeens card. I think the Skeens card was iconic for like a month last year during the Fanatics auction, and then finding out that Dick's Sporting Goods bought it. And now it's kind of like forgotten. Like I don't see anybody talking about that Skeens card anymore. I don't even see people posting pictures of it after visiting the Dick's Sporting Goods that it's located in on display. So that was a momentary marketing expense that was it was temporarily iconic because everybody knew about it. But to be truly iconic, you have to be able to withstand the media cycles, I think, like the 52 Tops mantle, the Honus Wagner, the Gretzky, the Jordan, the Griffey. These things are forever. They're evergreen. Skeens was like maybe reached media iconic status for like 4 to 6 weeks, and that was it. It's over now. But compare it to the dual logo men that have been recently hyped up, and even the Judge Otani that Fanatics brought me and Adam out to New York for to cover like that. We got to be a bit of a part of that iconic moment, and that was a really that could be an iconic card because of what it is. You know, the first ever dual 1-of-1 MLB gold logo man commemorating the MVP of both these guys who then played each other in the World Series. Like that is a very, you know what? Maybe okay, Josh. I see you freaking out. Maybe not an iconic card, but another term I could introduce is special card. What is a special card? Not all special cards are iconic, and I have my own definition of what a special card is. It's the special card is a new term that I've adopted for myself in my collecting endeavors, where I'm the sole determiner for myself if a card is special. But I do have some criteria for that, not fully flushed out, but I do have some criteria for what a special card is. And so that dual MLB 1-on-1 logo man auto of Shohei and Judge, I think is a very special card. Well, is it iconic? Not yet. Will it become iconic? It would have to change hands a few times and really grab headlines. But can a single 1-on-1 card become iconic? I don't know. The jury's out on that. Joe?
Real quick, getting back to Greg's apparent quote that Hoj brought up, that iconic might be a proxy for demand. I think in that context of thinking about, you know, is it the media? Is it this? Like, there's a lot of cards that I just are not in demand for me, at least, because it's so unrealistic that I would ever be able to acquire them. So I think something about iconic does involve the multitude or a larger scale of humans that not only desire it, but actually can imagine acquiring it.
Yeah, exactly. So Greg was kind of making the point, Joe, that can something be iconic if nobody even knows that it exists? That was one of the points that he was making, was like, if I don't know that a card even exists, if it's so rare that I don't even know it's there, how can it be iconic?
There is an answer to that question. There's a 48 leaf boxing card. I think there was one at the show. David, did you see it?
I don't know what you're talking about, but what?
Okay, there's a 48. It's a 48 leaf boxing set. There's a Rocky Graziano. I think it's Graziano. There's a Graziano that never made it to the set, and for decades, no one saw one, but people knew it was there, and it was iconic because no one saw it. No one knew if it even existed because it didn't make it to the final printing. There's like, I think 6 of them known, and it was an iconic card, but no one saw it. No one even knew if it existed. I think one popped up, 20 years ago. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know if that answers your question, but it's kind of a.
But as you said, Josh, does the average person who's thinking of an iconic card know that card, or
no,
just a crazy elite person?
Me. Please don't use my words against me. But yes, that's true. That's a good point. They do not. Good point.
Iconic for you.
Correct.
I don't know what I missed there when I had to step away for a minute, but I want to read a comment from Laura here. And she says, common synonyms for iconic status include legendary, celebrated, renowned, and unparalleled status. It refers to something widely recognized as definitive, classic, or symbolic of an era. And when I was speaking to it earlier, I was honing in on that symbolic element of the definition that she brought us, something that can symbolize the rest of its contemporaries, if you will. So that resonates with me. Jeff Will says, that's funny, Jeremy. Like, it's like Norm on Cheers wasn't iconic, but Christy Alley isn't. I think that's a fair comment right there. That I'm not exactly sure what Jeff was referring to my comment, maybe the set side of things, but that does make sense. Joe, I left after you started speaking. Can you just, I know everyone heard it, but I have to, what was the quick and dirty on your comment?
Oh, I was just referencing Greg's comparison that or statement that iconic might be a proxy for demand, and that in that context, if we were to think about demand, realistically, we're most of us, in fact, 99.999% of the hobby is not in a position to imagine realistically acquiring a, one of one Kobe, LeBron logo man, or, the highest level, 7-figure cards. So, I mean,
yeah.
So, like, I don't think that's the end of the story. I don't think that's the only lens, but I think there is a lens that you can examine the term iconic and actually start to reduce the field to more known cards. Like, I'll go back to the 2007 LeBron Kobe. Like, you could say are we talking about the gold refractor, the orange refractor, the X fractor? I don't know if there's a black of that issue, or are we just talking simply about the paper card? Because it could just as easily be the paper card that, the 14-year-old kid that's grown up loving, those are their two sports heroes, and they want the paper version, or the Curry, the Curry tops. Like, do you even need a chrome, an orange?
No, you don't. Like, it's like Adam in his book. They're all one. That's too deep into the detail there. I think it's just, they're all the same thing as far as the discussion to many people, because they're just different versions of the same iconic property, which is the image, right? So,
well, that's where I landed when I was confined and not, the set design. I mean, I kind of merged the set design and the image a little bit in my mind. But
I was too earlier on. We talk about what, only a few people can own that dual logo, man. So can it really be iconic? Well, the Honus Wagner, even a 52 tops Mickey Mantle, to get into a beater copy, you're talking 15, 20K. Like, just to get into any copy, that's out of reach for most people in the hobby. So is demand really a proxy for iconicism? I don't really think it is. I think it might be a component of it, but I don't think it's a proxy. And I also think that there's sort of like, you look at a Honus Wagner, it's an iconic card, yet only 75 people own it. And maybe only 150 that care want to own it. I don't know what that number is, right? It's a matter of one coming up for auction. But so the demand is high, but the price is high, but the demand isn't as high. And usually in economics, demand pressures price. Demand is what results in prices going up or down. But these are not commodities. That's more of a commodity sort of economic theory that applies really to commodities. And we have commodities in our hobby. A Gretzky rookie is a commodity. A Jordan 86 Fleer is a commodity. Even a 52 tops Mantle, there's only a couple thousand of them that are, slabs. So maybe not. But the Honus Wagner is not a commodity. Like, there's not enough of them where, I don't believe, at least to my definition of commodity, that it qualifies. So I think what I'm trying to get at here is that there's two different echelons, or two different segments of the hobby, and two different groups and segments of iconic cards. There are iconic cards that anyone can own, like a Griffey rookie, and then there are iconic cards that only a select few can own. Everyone would love to own them, but they're not even on our want lists because we don't even think we'll ever be able to own them, so we don't even put them on there. And both can be iconic, both can be in the news and media on a regular basis, even if they're transacting every day or not. And some of them don't need to be in the news. The Gretzky rookie is, okay, that one makes the news, but the Griffey rookie, does that ever make the news? I don't know that I've ever seen it really in the news. It might be in pictures as a card it's iconic because it will be on various media assets to represent the hobby, but it's not necessarily a card that is making headlines for its sales or its popularity anymore, and at least. So yeah, I don't know if there's any real answer to this, but it's a fun conversation and it gets our brains all rolling. And I wonder to Chris if this conversation has shaped your thoughts on it at all.
Absolutely. This is a great conversation. I think this conversation is just getting started. And I just think, for whatever it's worth, that there may in fact be sort of blueprints to creating iconic status that we've all touched on in different degrees. And there's different ways that something can become iconic. It can become iconic by being both highly demanded and widely available. It can become iconic by being widely portrayed and perceived as very valuable. It can become iconic in a number of ways. And the way that iconicity gets forged is really interesting. The cliffhanger for me is I'm so curious, and Jeremy, you made me think of this earlier. You sketched it out, and now it's just stuck in my head. The cliffhanger for me is this. How different would the results be if we polled the entire hobby and asked them, what do you think other people think is the most iconic property a card can have? And then polled the same people and said, now you tell us what you think is the most iconic property a card can have. I think I would love to see the delta between those results.
Yeah, that'd be interesting for sure. And the same two questions can be asked about cards themselves. What do you think is the most iconic card, and what's the most iconic card to you? And because there's way more cards than there are properties, you're going to get a vast difference of opinions on the card question than you will the properties question. But I will say, Chris, that the question that you posed is a great question. It's a great topic. I'm enjoying the conversation and thinking about it from different angles and trying to, even Joe's answer, really challenged my brain, like his early answer, because I'm like, wait a second, did I misunderstand this? Like which there's so many ways to go about it, and just shows how we're all looking at things through our own filters, through our own experiences, our own lens, and it's really hard to take yourself out of the situation and ask what is most iconic or important or whatever it is, stripping yourself of your own biases. And it's tough to do, because like Josh will tell you, it's not the 52 Tops Mantle, Mays, or Robinson, it's the Mini Minoso. So right. And then you look at the Jordan cards for 1 second. The Star outsells the Fleer grade for grade. Like, it's not even close anymore, I don't think. Well, maybe it's not really close anymore. You're probably 10-1 or something like that, right? But the Star is far from iconic compared to the 86 Fleer. So again, a place where price does not result or necessitate what's important or iconic. Well, iconic, let's say, maybe not importance. Maybe the Star is becoming more important now. Yeah, and then if we had more time, which we're going to wrap up here, but I'd want to layer on like market cap to this discussion, Chris. Like, global population, market cap. Does that help to indicate iconicism, importance, that kind of thing?
I think, Jeremy, two things to keep an eye on. This will be my final thing, and then I'm done. Two things to keep an eye on are two new emerging properties that are becoming iconic before our very eyes because they somehow have what this era sort of covets, which is both rarity but also availability. The first one is the 1-of-1 stamp, and we've sort of fleshed out how that might have secretly become iconic before our eyes. But the other one is the in-person autograph. The in-person autograph, I think, is becoming iconic literally before our eyes. And even in-person autographs that were obtained 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. Those things are literally becoming iconic right now as we speak.
I think both are iconic, as you say. I think the in-person autograph is a really fair one to add, especially because that's been going on since the dawn of the hobby. In-person autographs has been around longer than people thought about rookie cards. Grade, not condition, but grade, like third-party grade, and of course, the 1-of-1 stamp. So yeah, those are both legitimate. And I do think the 1-of-1 stamp is iconic. I just don't think that it's as iconic as the rookie card designation. These are designations in a way. And the rookie card designation, in my opinion, I believe the hobby believes, and I think I also believe, is way more iconic than the 1-of-1 stamp. But that wasn't part of your poll. So you couldn't fit that fifth one in. And I think that was I think that was the prudent play by you to level the playing field.
Rookie card, certainly, as in the words of Victor, who you quoted earlier, the hobby icon, the rookie card. I don't think it would have even been close.
No, I completely agree. Completely agree. Any final thoughts on this, or Joe? Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. I mean, it brings me back at one point, I think when iconic cards, we were talking about this on a late night Sports Cards Live, I believe, and Hoj, you at one point, I think said, and so I'm curious if you have had any sort of sea change in your own internal reckoning, or maybe the world has changed and you're already there. But I think I recall you saying something along the lines of like, I actually don't have any interest in iconic cards. Any comment on that? I mean, with the 1-of-1 changing before our eyes, now do you have interest in iconic cards?
I think what happened was I was stuck in a false paradigm. I allowed the paradigm of a card can either be rare or iconic, but it can't be both. I bought into that. But after I ran this poll, I realized that's not necessarily true. And now I'm taking a step back and I'm evaluating all my assumptions. And I'm starting to wonder, what does iconic really mean? What does rare really mean? And I'm finding very quickly that these words mean different things to different people, and that there isn't just one paradigm.
However, Chris, an iconic card, because Joe said that you said that you were not interested in owning iconic cards. That is different than owning cards that hold an iconic property. And you collect 1-of-1s. That is a card that holds an iconic property. That is not an iconic card. Your 1-of-1 Jordans are not iconic cards. Not even that platinum, that 1-of-1 that sold on Heritage last month that you were that's not, I don't think we would consider that to be an iconic card. It just isn't, but it's an iconic property. So back to Joe's question, I think, Joe, with that kind of framing, like does, or not even back to Joe, back to you, Chris, like, does that help reconcile your thoughts?
Sort of. It just depends upon what iconic means. Like if iconic is allowed to mean rare, because I didn't think it was allowed to mean that. I thought that those two things had to be mutually exclusive.
It can't mean rare, because there are so many rare cards that nobody knows about.
Okay.
Well, there's so many 1-of-1s that nobody cares about.
Yeah, because I'm just, this is semantic, but semantic is key. Semantic is very important. But to me, it's like I want to say now, if iconic can allow rarity, then I want to say that Platinum Masterpiece 1-of-1 Jordan that sold on Heritage a month ago is very iconic. To me, I wouldn't say that I think Josh thinks it's iconic, but I would say that to me it's iconic. But
you think the hobby would think it's iconic?
No.
See that, and I completely understand that. To Chris Hoge, it's not only iconic, it's like the dream. It's everything. It's Mount Everest. It's everything because of how you collect. But when you take yourself out of it and you think about what is because iconic isn't what you love. I don't think it is. I think iconic strips out what your personal opinion is on what might be iconic, because iconic symbolizes other things. Laura put a great definition in the chat before, or synonyms for it, which in a way can define it. You know, legendary. Is that card legendary? I don't think so. Is it celebrated? It was that week and by your podcast. Is it renowned? Maybe. Is it unparalleled status? There are other 1-of-1s, but is it, it might be unparalleled, but is it symbolic? I don't think it's symbolic. And to me, that is one of the most important aspects of what is iconic. Because you can go, like, there are 1-of-1s that are distributed at card shows as redemptions. They're 1-of-1s. They hold that iconic badge, that iconic stamp, but the card is not iconic. I mean, I sold a 1-of-1 Paul Correa card at the show last week for $40, and it was a show stamp card. I was happy to get $40 out of it. Trust me, no one knows it exists. Nobody knows it exists except me and the guy who bought it and the guy that I got it from. That's it. That cannot be. So being a one of one or being rare does not automatically mean iconic. It just can't. However, rare cards can also be iconic, but just not the whole set of them. Well said, buddy. Well, okay, thank you.
Well, I mean, the thing the caveat I'll throw in, Jay Lee, is just that we also have the storytelling component, and the platinum became much more iconic in my mind after learning more about its place in the Jordan suite, if you will. And it was a compelling story. So like I think there's room for things to become iconic as we learn more about them.
Yeah, like I'll tell you the story of if you want to think that card's iconic, here's the story. The one-of-one stamp is the card type of the ultra-modern era. That comes from the first one-of-one set of basketball cards ever made, and it's of Michael Jordan, a very iconic player. There's your argument for why it's iconic.
I think that's the argument for why it can become iconic if more and more people hear that story and it resonates with them. Right now, it doesn't. A drop in the bucket of people know that story, and even of the people that do, they might not think it's iconic. So for something to be iconic, it has to be symbolic of more. It has to be symbolic. Everybody knows the Griffey, the Jordan, the Gretzky, the Wagner, the Mantle. Everybody knows all of even the Jordan bird, the Magic bird. Everybody knows these cards. That, I think, is a key element of iconicism. So, Chris, for your card, for that Jordan one-of-one to become iconic, that story needs to permeate the hobby. People need to talk about it. People need to want to see what it looks like. People, there needs to be postings about it and media coverage and ongoing, right? Like that Skeens card, everybody knew about that card. No, not everybody. Many people knew about that card. Probably more people knew about that card than the Jordan because of who bought it and because of the marketing that went on behind it. Even by Fanatics did a great job, and the one-of-one debut patch and all that, right?
And Jeremy, this brings me back to Joe's point about why I don't want to collect iconic cards is because an iconic card is largely a manufactured artifice of contingencies such as what did hobby influencers promote to me and so on. So that's what iconic means. That's not a category that I'm excited about. But if iconic can mean something like Jordan's first ever one-of-one, and the only reason it's not iconic is just because nobody knows that it exists, to Greg's point, the demand side point, that's an interesting area where all of a sudden I say, oh, maybe I am interested in iconic.
Talk to me. Yeah. I mean, no, a iconic card does not have to be like, I don't really love iconic cards either, Chris. Like I have them in paintings behind me, but I don't need to own them all anymore. I prefer the non-iconic card nowadays because I feel like, I don't know, I just want to be a bit different. Everyone's got all the iconic cards. I have my share of them, don't get me wrong, and I'm not planning to sell those iconic cards that I own now. And I do chase some iconic cards because I think they're beautiful, regardless of what anyone else thinks. I think they're beautiful and important, and I like them. But I don't only chase iconic cards. I want cards that are a bit off the beaten path. I want to set my collection apart. And I think that's a way to do it, is to not only chase iconic cards. If I'm only chasing cards that everyone else wants, then I feel like I'm sort of outsourcing my personality. I'm not really letting my own my hobby identity is other people's hobby identities. And I'd rather forge my own hobby identity and continue to evolve it. And for a long time, it was based on what other people liked because I thought that's what I had to like or collect in certain cases, So I think a lot of us go through that. But I think as you evolve and spend more years in the hobby, you may or may not move in that direction. A lot of people just love the iconic cards, and a lot of them are rookie cards, which, not all of them. But as David said, the deeper you go into that list, the more of them are rookie cards. And a lot of people want to own them. So, yeah. Yeah, fun topic. Okay, this show's over, guys. Thank you. No, we are going to wrap it up. Unless anyone has any more comments, I don't want to leave anyone hanging with a No, you're good, David. Josh, you good? Joe?
Good.
Okay. And Chris is good. All right, guys. Well, thank you, everybody. This is a long one. This is 3 hours, 33 minutes right now. So thank you, everybody, for joining. Still 156 people with us. So thank you, everybody, for being here throughout this show. And welcome back after the week off. But we got to welcome Leighton back earlier on in the night. So, and thank you to David earlier for bringing through the, first of all, Mookie Chilson on him making his Sports Cards Live debut through your hotel room tonight. That was awesome, David. And of course, seeing Greg, Tony, and Mike Petty as well was definitely a treat. So thank you for that. And Joe, Josh, Chris, as always, thank you guys. Chat. Thank you, everyone over there. This show is available on podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Please keep that in mind. I'll be back tomorrow night for the Fanatics Club weekly show, and then Thursday with Adam Gray for the premiere show. And we will be back again next Saturday for Sports Cards Live. And here on April the 11th and now the 12th for some of us, this episode of Sports Cards Live is now. We're going to go to Chris.
Over.
Josh.
Over.
Joe.
Over.
And David Chase.
Over.
And this episode is now over. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening.
Thanks for tuning in and being a part of the Sports Cards Live community. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and most of all, keep collecting. More great content to come. Sports Cards is a lifestyle.